The opening term. Dean Brogan in the ruck against Jarman. Kasisi there. Pike as well. Gets boot to ball. First effective disposal goes Brisbane's way. And a mark taken by Brad Scott. He'll go long to the goal square. They're playing the huddle down there, Brisbane. Wakeland brings it to ground. Power, elusive. Onto his right. Swings it back to the danger zone. Crashing through was Brown. Lynch is there. He's wrapped up by Brogan. Schofield. Through traffic and away for Port Adelaide. They weather the early storm. The mark's taken by Carr. Goes short to Paxman. Paxman has it adjacent to the centre circle. Goes short. Finds Carr. Just holds it up. Waits for the right option. Interesting article in the Herald Sun today, written by Lee Matthews, saying their focus tonight is to block Port Adelaide's targets. Don't give them free men to kick to. Here's Montgomery. Goes inside 50 and finds Sean Burgoyne. So Port Adelaide patient early and eventually it pays off.
Well, I've got to say that I'm very surprised to see Mel Michael lining up on Burgoyne. I just think Burgoyne will just have far too much speed for him on the lead.
Doesn't look a good matchup, does it? A couple of the other ones for Port Adelaide. Kasisi's got the job on Eckermanis. Josh Carr renews acquaintances with Michael Voss. Kane Corns on Simon Black.
So here's Sean Burgoyne. 32 goals, 15 for Port Adelaide this season. Second on their goal kicking behind Warren Treadray. 40 metres out. Looks good off the boot. First blood to the power. Great start for Port Adelaide inside the opening 2 minutes. Took control from the back line. Patient build-up. Found Sean Burgoyne and he converts.
Well, that's a wonderful start for Port. Just exactly what they'd be looking for. This is a finals type atmosphere here this evening. They've just really got to make sure that they can get off to a jump, get a bit of confidence in their game early in the piece. It's exactly what they would have wanted. It's a great start.
So 1 goal straight to Port Adelaide through Sean Burgoyne. Brisbane yet to score.
They fixed the match up straight away though. See, Darryl White's now gone to Sean Burgoyne, so they've had to fix that one immediately.
Plenty of niggle in this game already off the ball, as we can see. Free kick in the middle of the ground. It's going Port Adelaide's way. In fact, it's coming back. It's going to Brisbane.
Against Kane Corns.
Here's Black. Finds Hart, pushed forward, has it at 55. Dumps it long towards the goal square. Tracking back is Lynch. Lets it go through. Dynamite opening to this one. Sean Hart gets the opening goal and the quick response from Brisbane. And we've built this one up as a bit of a title fight. And both sides have landed early blows.
It was smart play by Hart. He recognised before other players did that basically the umpires will call a free kick to Brisbane, snuck off to it by himself to a half-forward flank and really drove the ball on. That's what Brisbane need. They need to get a few more goal kickers into their lineup, especially from the midfield.
So a goal apiece. We've gone 3.5 minutes of the opening term. That's the Brisbane Lions goal square. Playing the huddle down there. They've got 6 forwards, all within 10 metres of goal. More from Terry Wallace on that strategy shortly. Brogan the tap. Sharp by James. The fend off to Hart. James will go inside 50. A one-on-one. Michael and Primus. Through the hands of Guerra. Voss. Handball to Bradshaw. Starting in defence, as Lee Matthews suggested. And he finds Charman on centre wing. Charman towards half forward. McRae punched away by Wanganeen, picked up by Eckermanis. Goes to Brown. Goes looking for Lynch on the burst. Carousella at his feet. Fumbles. Lynch goes back. Intercepted by Guerra. He's wrapped up by Hart. He'll have a bounce 35 metres out from the Brisbane goal.
Well, last week, just the Brisbane lineup, they played their forwards too high up the ground, left Lynch by himself. They've obviously had a look at that during the week. They've decided to put all their crummers right around Lynch at the start of the game.
Brogan and Charman. Spills to McRae. Was he taken high? He was. The tackle from Roger James over the shoulder. And a chance for Craig McRae to go back and give the Brisbane Lions the lead. It's a goal apiece. We've played 4.5 minutes.
Somehow pretty physical too, Brisbane. Plenty happening off the ball with Brad Scott. He's got the job on Nick Stevens. So they're trying to intimidate Port Adelaide. An important kick for them in these early stages of the game.
So McRae, been deadly this season, kicked 20 goals, 9 to be third on Brisbane's goal kicking. And this to give the reigning premiers the lead after 5 minutes. On its way. Doesn't like it. He's pushed it left. And it's Brisbane 1-1-7. Port Adelaide 1 straight goal. We've gone just over 5 minutes in the opening term at the Gabba. Nick Stevens to bring it back into play. It's a 2-on-1. Bishop being shepherded out by James. Just held Ackermanis away from that contest. And Bishop takes the uncontested mark. We'll get some matchups from Chris and Terry shortly. As Bishop goes short and finds Kasisi. Coming off his best game for Port Adelaide last week. Goes inboard to Bishop again. And again we see Port Adelaide across half back, patient. Waiting for the right option. Don't want to turn it over. Brisbane flood back in numbers, only 2 players. There they are on screen. Behind Brett Montgomery. And again, they work it to an open man. It's Kasisi. Brisbane committed to pushing back, blocking up the options. And there's a minor victory for the Brisbane Lions right there.
Yeah, they'd be very pleased with that defensive work. But Port, that's okay for Port. Port have just got to play their own natural game, hold the ball up and just wait for targets to present themselves.
So throw in, Charman and Brogan. Brogan paddles it to his feet. James in there working hard. We'll have a bounce. It's Brisbane 1-1-7. Port 1 straight goal. We've played 6.5 minutes.
Key one for Port Adelaide is Nick Stevens at the moment getting dragged away from the footy. At the moment he's on Luke Powell, Brad Scott making his presence felt as well. Port would be very keen to try and get Nick Stevens onto the ball.
Plenty of players around this one again. Brogan the tap. Ruck infringement. Holding. It's going to Jamie Charman. You can see plenty of niggle in this game already.
Definitely out of hold of the jumper.
Charman wants to go short. Finds Brad Scott. His brother Chris out of the side tonight with a quad strain. Scott goes inside 50. Lynch and Brown to the front of the contest. Wanganeen, uncharacteristic fumble. Matters little. Ball finds the line.
Well, a couple of the defensive matchups for the Power. Paxman's gone to Brown and Wakeland has taken Lynch.
Brisbane 1-1-7. Port 1 straight goal. Gone 7.5 minutes opening term at the Gabba. Another ruck infringement. Again it goes Brisbane's way. It went to Lynch. It's gathered by Hart. Could have kicked his second. Disappointing finish from Sean Hart. He misses. Brisbane a 1-2-8. Port Adelaide 1 straight goal. Approaching the 8-minute mark.
It looks like Sean Hart's got the job on Jared Schofield. Been loose to Jared Schofield a couple of times when Brisbane have gone forward. He'll need to keep his eye on Hart. He can kick a goal.
Brisbane by 2 points. Schofield goes short. Finds Josh Carr.
Got to get the feeling that Brisbane have just settled a little bit better than Port. They seem to have their matchups and their men in the right spots. They look like they're a little bit more comfortable at this stage of the game.
They really are committed to blocking the run, aren't they? They're getting numbers back. Port Adelaide not getting uncontested possession off half back. It's the absolute focus of the Brisbane game plan tonight. Bishop goes wide. Finds Kane Corns inside the boundary line.
It's going to be a real one-on-one game. I think we'll see that all night.
Looking forward to it. Some good old-fashioned football. Matchups all over the ground. Josh Carr squares it up. Here's the dangerous kick that Brisbane were trying to force. Power gets the turnover. He's got a man inside 50 unmarked. Caracella. And that was exactly what the Brisbane Lions were looking for when you play that short possession style football. It does give the opportunity to turn it over.
Geez, they would have loved just to get the ball an extra 5 or 10 metres closer to goal. Caracella was all by himself. I thought the kick was just a little bit short, made him actually go back to win the football rather than be able to take it a little closer to goals.
He's had a relatively quiet year. It's his 9th game. He's kicked just 6 goals, 8. And a chance here for the early break for Brisbane from right on 50. Plenty of legs on the kick. You can see from his body language he didn't like it either. And another opportunity goes begging. Brisbane 1-3-9. Port Adelaide 1 straight goal. It's the home side by 3 points. We've gone 9.5 minutes in the opening term. Inside 50s, 5-2. So Brisbane have had most of the play, but just not putting it on the board at the moment. Stevens goes short and finds Schofield.
Yeah, they just can't get any run at the moment, pal. But as the game eventuates, they'll eventually break the game open.
Goes long, looking for Montgomery. Again, numbers back for Brisbane. It's Brown. Can square it up to Voss. The skipper, second touch. High ball. Wakeland comes thundering out. Presents himself. Couldn't quite bring it down. Was he interfered with? Yes, he was, said the umpire. A free kick to the Port Adelaide defender, Darryl Wakeland. Playing game 155. And great value for Port Adelaide since crossing from the Saints. To Bishop again, seems to be their go-to man off half-back. Those looking for Treadray. And Bradshaw with a big job on him. Takes the first honours. Goes short to Brown. Backward to centre wing. The chip to Brad Scott. Here comes Byron Pickett, but Scott gets rid of it. Grogan's filling the hole. Didn't look. And it's a battle of the defences at the moment, Chris.
Certainly is. Didn't look. No run from Port Adelaide. That's the problem. Nick Stevens can't work his way into the midfield. He's their key ball carrier. Brisbane doing a good job on him in the early stages of this quarter.
So Wanganeen feigned right and went left to Montgomery. Now to Brogan. Needs to get rid of it and does. Again, they're kicking to contests. Horns and Treadray. Spills to Pike. Little handball to Voss. Squares it up. Paxman and Brown. Brown stood tall. You can see he's supposedly the centre half forward, but getting most of his football across half back at the moment. Brown pushing back hard. Michael, they release the loose man. It's Caracella. He's told to go. Can run all the way to 50. Where it comes to him now. Steps inboard. Uncertain of his options, so he'll bomb it high and long. Again, Port Adelaide with numbers back. Montgomery fist to the goal line. Wanganeen sees it through. Rush behind to the Brisbane Lions. They're 1-4-10. Port Adelaide one straight goal. We've gone 11 and a half minutes.
It was a very similar feel to last week's game, Port Adelaide West Coast. It was a real arm wrestle for the first 7 or 8 minutes. A really tight tussle till Port Adelaide blew the game open. Very similar start this week.
Stevens with a kick in again. Again they go to Bishop. He's the target. That's the same play we've already seen, Terry. James holds Ackermanis out. Bishop takes the mark.
They'll do something about it. The runner will come out to the outrider structure and get that right.
Montgomery back to Bishop. 7th touch for him. He's been their leak man from defence. James to Corns. Goes for a run. Goes inside 50 looking for his brother Chad. Good strong hands. And he takes the mark. Big job for young Luke Weller in just his 4th game. And on that occasion, Chad Corns goes up and marks 40 metres out, more or less directly in front.
Well, that's a massive challenge for young Luke Weller, and they had to do something with Leppich going out of the side. Lee Matthews had to put up a challenge to one of his players to sort of say, hey, we need you, somebody to stand up. Realistically, he's done it with 2. He's done it with both Bradshaw and Weller.
I'm surprised Mal Michael hasn't been given the key defensive role, though.
This has been the area of Chad's game that's let him down this season. And again, he tugs it left, hits the post, tried to work its way back. So Chad Corns are behind. Port Adelaide moved to 1-1-7. The Brisbane Lions are 1-4-10. We've played 13 minutes in the opening term. Plenty of niggle. There's Montgomery and Brad Scott. Ashcroft to Michael. Goes short and finds Darryl White at half back. Chips over the top to Simon Black. Just his 2nd touch. Certainly been an arm wrestle. Finals-like atmosphere and a finals-like start to this game as well. Neither side giving an inch defensively. Here's Weller. Switches play to Michael. He's got Darryl White on in the middle of the ground. Thought about it. And then delivered. White plays on. Pickett lunged late. Goes deep to full forward. Lynch got hands to it. Never a chance to mark. Here's a chance for Port Adelaide now to break at ground level. Stevens to Cassisi. To Chad Corns. Links up by hand to Schofield. Can go for a run. Michael's pushed back. He's the only man there. Now to Corns. To centre half forward. Treadray spotted it. Just a touch before Pike. Dishes to Roger James. Can trot to 45. On the run, James. Goes for goal. And kicks it. James gets his first. Port Adelaide their second. They're 2-1-13. The Lions are 1-4-10. It's the visitors by 3 points who played 14 and a half minutes, and Chris, one of the few times this evening we've seen Port Adelaide get some run through the lines.
Got some decent run from the back up for sure. Roger James, arguably their best finisher, highly regarded down at Alberton. Had an interrupted season, but finishes beautifully on that occasion. And the arm wrestle for just a moment is broken.
So Roger James gets his first. Port Adelaide their second. They're 2-1-13. Brisbane 1-4-10. Brad Scott and Nick Stevens. Plenty of niggle off the ball in this one. It's Port by 3 points. We've played 15 minutes in the opening term. Sharman the tap. Paxman sinks the boot in it from centre half forward. It was effective. Shad Corns playing in front. Takes the mark.
It's got to be concerned, that matchup.
Coming up for his fourth touch. Goes to the pocket. Good, quick, strong lead from Sean Burgoyne. He's a chance to go back and kick his second.
And once again, we see Mel Michael caught on Burgoyne, and he just cannot go with him. He just can't go with him for leg speed.
The same thing, Darryl White now gets on Primus, so Port Adelaide doing it well, just being able to isolate Michael and White on their non-preferred opponents. And as you said, Terry, Sean Burgoyne on the lead is so explosive, too quick for Mel Michael, and he's such a beautiful finisher. Some worrying signs for the Lions in this early stages.
Burgoyne's got one. Port have two. They lead by 3 points. He's tugged it left. He's going to struggle to score. It doesn't. Hits the behind post. On the full. Free kick to Brisbane. And White takes it quickly. Goes short to Ashcroft. It's Port Adelaide 2-1-13. Brisbane are 1-4-10. It's Port by 3 points. We played almost 16 and a half minutes in the opening term.
Brisbane have had enough of the play, but they just haven't been able to put it on the scoreboard so far.
Bradshaw, high kick. Sharman and Brown. Brogan worked his man under it. Black gathers at ground level. Handball to Ackermanis. Twists and turns, trying to get past Cassisi and does. High ball. Carousella will arrive for the Brisbane Lions at ground level. Wanganeen reads it off the pack. Wants to go for a run and switch play. Runs out of options. Nothing on for the switch.
Oh.
The kick just eludes McRae. Brogan to tidy up. Here's Schofield. Handball back to Wanganeen. Finals like pressure at the moment. And Wanganeen on the target. Brilliant mark to Martin Pike. So Brisbane now turning the screws on Port Adelaide and putting some pressure on their defence, and it's not often you see Gavin Wanganeen short of an option.
No, it's not. What about the mark from a 100-game player with the Brisbane Lions tonight in Pike? He's just been a fantastic performer for this club since he's arrived in Brisbane.
The only man going around in modern-day football with 3 premiership medals is Martin Pike. Kick for goal. Goal umpire goes a long way, and that's why Martin's missed to the left-hand side. His first score for the evening. It's the Brisbane Lions. As Martin Pike does a party trick. They're 1-5-11. Trailing Port Adelaide 2-1-13. We've played almost 18 minutes in the opening term. This time Port play the huddle. And Stevens goes to James. Kick had too much on it for Treadray. Pickett at the back. McGrath to beat. Does so with pace. Byron Pickett runs to 50. Will kick deep to the goal square. Primus wrestling with Michael. Appeals for a free kick. None forthcoming. And it's behind to Byron Pickett. Again, quick transition play from Port Adelaide. They look so dangerous. As Ashcroft brings it in, goes wide and finds Martin Pike. Pike chips over the top looking for Voss. Stands tall.
Great courage.
Crunched by Brogan.
It's an amazing game in this day and age where the ball gets just taken from one end of the ground on a kick out to the other end. You see the other side come straight in. They've virtually got it to the halfway mark without the other side touching as well.
So Michael Voss, fourth possession for him coming up. Jonathan Brown and Martin Pike also with 4 for Brisbane, while Bishop has 7 for Port Adelaide. Voss goes long. Off the hands of the pack. James being busy early. To Paxman. Squares it up to Montgomery. Here come Port Adelaide through the middle again. Montgomery goes looking for Corns. Just worked Weller out of the contest. Treadray there as well. Can link up with Corns. Instead he goes inboard. Hart read it off the boot. Got across in front of Burgoyne. And now a chance for Brisbane to attack. He comes to White. White's got power forward of the football. Luke Powell looks up. Carousella leads short. He'll go longer. Here comes Alistair Lynch. It clears him and Wakeland. At the back is Brown. Finds some space from 35 out. Screws it to the goal square. And the mark taken by Brad Scott. And just sneers at Nick Stevens.
Yeah, he certainly does. and been very effective on Nick Stevens early, holding him to only one touch at this stage. Warren Treadray turns the ball over in the powered 450. Brisbane on the rebound, very dangerous. Jonathan Brown, the key player on that occasion, holds his feet against Paxman. Fortuitously hits the target, but puts Brisbane in with a chance of kicking a goal. Big night for Jonathan Brown. Needs to impose himself on this game. And a big kick for Brad Scott.
So this to regain the lead for Brisbane as Scott converts. The Brisbane Lions by 3 points. So Brad Scott gets his first. He enjoyed that one. Just let Nick Stevens know all about it. That's Brisbane 2-5-17. Port Adelaide 2-2-14. The home side by 3 points. We've played just over 20 minutes.
Well, coaching is all about getting players out of their natural positions, and as you mentioned earlier, Chris, Stevens is just not used to playing in the defensive end. He was just caught out from playing an unnatural style of play. He ended up just losing his opponent just for that split second. That's all it needs.
So Brisbane back in front. They lead by 3 points. There's Weller and Corns. It's 2-5 to 2-2 in favour of the reigning premiers. Into time on. Approaching the 21-minute mark of the opening term. Keating gets the tap. James can't evade Brad Scott. It spills to Kane Corns. Handball to Nick Stevens. Goes wide looking for Chad. Picked off by Weller. Did well. The smother came. And McGrath and Stevens take it to the line. There's a free kick, and it's going Brisbane's way. It's coming back to Ashley McGrath. So Ashley McGrath's first touch. Called to play on. Wants to step Byron Pickett. That is optimistic. If there's one bloke in the competition you don't want to take on, it's probably Byron Pickett. And he beats him point blank. Trots to 65. Launches it long to the goal square. Treadray from the side almost. At ground level. Bergeron arrives late. And the ball hits the post.
Well, that's not doing your homework, I don't think, Ashley McGrath. You do not take Byron Pickett in that situation. That is a no-win situation, and lucky to get away with it on that occasion, Brisbane.
There's McGrath with it again. Switches play back to Michael. It's the Brisbane Lions by 2 points. They're 2-5-17, quarter 2-3-15. We've played 22 minutes in the opening term. Hart from defensive 50. Goes looking for Pike. Chad Corns arrives and fists to the line for a throw in. So 4 minutes remaining in the opening term. It's Brisbane by 2 points. Possession's almost dead level. 53 to 51 in Port Adelaide's favour. Inside 50s. 11 to 8 in favour of Brisbane. Keating and Brogan. Black and James arrive. Black gets it. Flat on his back. Up the handball. Was intercepted by Bishop. He's gang tackled by Carousella and Hart. And the ball goes out.
I think from Port Adelaide's point of view, they're playing some reasonable footy without two of their key playmakers, Nick Stevens and Warren Treadray. Only touched the ball a couple of times each. Had no influence on the game. So plenty to work with for Port.
At 5 players contest the ruck contest. It spills to Ackermanis at the front of the contest. Spearing kick inside 50. Off the chest of Lynch. And over again.
Well, that's the style of play we'll see as the game progresses. Just people breaking the game open. At the moment it's been a fairly stationary game. Possession has been everything.
So we've played almost 23 and a half minutes. Brisbane by 2 points. Lynch and Wakeland. A tap from Lynch went straight to Roger James. 6 touch for him. Goes towards Treadray and Bradshaw. Treadray did well, clean hands. Too hot for Pickett. Picked off by McGrath. The bounce beat Ackermanis. Cassisi and Pike. And another throw in.
It's been a big couple of weeks for Dominic Cassisi. Taking a couple of big scalps for Owen Smith. Last week, Chris Judd was his game on Chris Judd last week was fantastic. Tonight, a huge job on Jason Ackermanis.
Really growing in confidence is Dominic Cassisi, playing his 16th game this evening. Here's Black, away from the congestion. Inside 50, Wanganeen comes across to cut it off in front of Lynch. Gets boot to ball, only as far as Ackermanis. Starting to have an influence, his 5th touch. Spots a target, goes short, finds McRae, the mark is paid. So McRae from about 60 metres out. Voss offers a hard lead straight up the middle. Brad Scott goes to the pocket. McRae attacks the goal square. That is a thumping kick. he's got his first. Brisbane get their third. They're 3-5-23. As Alistair Lynch has a chat to the umpire Gavin Dorr.
Well, it was just a wonderful goal, and that's what he's got the capabilities of doing, just blasting goals from outside 50. Ackermanis has been the player over the last 5 to 10 minutes that has really put a stamp on this game, just starting to break the game open a little bit for Brisbane.
Brisbane 3-5-23, Port Adelaide 2-3-15. It's the home side by 8 points. We've played 25 minutes in the opening term at the Gabba. Brogan and Keating. Schofield, here's Cassisi. Handball was hot, good hands from Chad Corns. Thumps it long towards Treadray. Bradshaw did well, got to the front. Soccer's off the ground. Schofield and Black commit themselves. Power, swoops on the loose ball. Puts it out in front of Keating. Twists and turns. Goes towards Brown. Carousella lurking, great mark. Taken by Bishop. For his 8th touch, leads the game. Wanganeen to Montgomery. To the runner Schofield. Sean Burgoyne leads hard in front of White. Kept his feet, that was important. Twists and turns Burgoyne. Handball just too hot for Montgomery. McGrath arrives with pace. Met by Montgomery, play on the call. Here's Burgoyne, tight in the pocket. Wants to square it up. Kick was looking for Jude. Missed its target. It's picked off by Pike. Goes looking for Ackermanis. Couldn't bring it down. Here's James. Chance for Port Adelaide late. Montgomery to Kane Corns. Searching kick towards the goal square. Just tugged it left. And through from behind. Port Adelaide moved to 2-4-16. The Lions at 3-5-23. It's the reigning premiers by 7 points. We've played 26.5 minutes opening term.
Both sides have plenty of opportunities. Port Adelaide on that occasion. Sean Burgoyne turning the ball over on a couple of occasions. Kane Corns, who's normally a beautiful kick for goal, just offline.
Ashcroft short to the back pocket and finds Mel Michael. Played 27 minutes. Brisbane Lions with a 7-point ascendancy. Final minute of the opening term. Michael goes towards Bradshaw and Primus. Primus got hands to it. Ball goes out.
I don't think that Mark Williams would be that dissatisfied with his first quarter. Brisbane up here in big games have quite often blown games open early in the match. I think even if he was fractionally behind, he'd be reasonably happy with that at quarter time.
Chance for one more for Port in the final minute. Primus at the front of the contest. Handball. Went to follow it up himself. Pickett flashed across your screen. Black got it to McGrath. Tumbles a kick to the wing. Brown. Got one in the back. Advantage will be paid, but Ackermanis couldn't pick it up cleanly. So the ball will come back. Good break there for Port Adelaide.
So you're going to see Matthew Primus off the ball. Really looks to be struggling. A lot of talk about him pre-match and taking a long time to get ready for the game. Certainly not running with any comfort on the ground at the moment.
30 seconds remaining as Brown has it just backward of the wing. Thumps towards Brad Scott. Unimpeded run at the football. Couldn't hang on. Nick Stevens goes to Paxman. Can go over the top to Primus. He's got a couple of metres on McGrath, but he'll need to mark it. And doesn't. Opportunity goes begging for Port Adelaide. We'll have a throw in, seconds remaining.
I reckon it's a real telltale sign of a player who's struggling with his legs when his hands go at the same time. Normally pretty clean with his hands, Matty Primus. Really struggling to get to the footy on that occasion, spilling an easy mark.
Brisbane by 7 points. They're 3-5. Port Adelaide 2-4. Primus palmed it to Schofield. Maybe time for one more. There's 10 seconds remaining. Off the hands of Treadray and Burgoyne. Treadray, handball in the path of Carr. He goes for goal and puts it through. Josh Carr right on the quarter time siren with just seconds remaining. Port Adelaide get their third. They're 3-4-22. Brisbane at 3-5-23 in the shadows of quarter time.
Well, really, it was Sean Burgoyne that set that up, just playing in front directly. The tap out came to Treadray. Treadray was smart. He could have had a set shot for goal, but just put it into the path of Carr, who did the rest. Only had to dribble the ball through, made a certain goal of it.
Great vision from Treadray. I mean, the awareness to know where your players are around you is fantastic.
So Josh Carr kicks a goal with his 5th touch. Seconds remaining. There is the quarter time siren. And it is all set up. Bit of niggle at centre half back. Montgomery's in there, having a chat to Luke Power. They break now. So it is nicely poised after 1 quarter of football. The Brisbane Lions 3-5-23, Port Adelaide 3-4-24, all single goal kickers. It's the home side by 1 point. Opening change at the Gabba.
Hi, I'm Dermot Brereton. In the many years I've played football, I've been injured, disappointed, abused, vilified and criticised. I'd go through it all again to be on Living with Footballers one more time.
Like you mean it.
Living with Footballers, exclusive to Fox Footy Channel.
Because Bunnings Warehouse has the lowest prices every day, you can still afford to do all the home improvements you want. Tub with rope handles, only $9.98. Zag toolbox, amazing $16.43. 25-metre extension lead, just $16.89. Yard broom, a low $13. Leaf and grass rake, a great buy at $2.60. And if you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
There are sports, and there are extreme sports. Just like there are compact four-wheel drives. And there's the Nissan X-Trail, with the latest generation 2.5-litre engine for extreme all-round performance, on or off-road. The X-Trail. Only Nissan takes the compact four-wheel drive to the extreme.
Get your weekly power hit direct from the source.
Freedom tough down here. Take you right into the heart of the place today. There you go, Sonny. What was the feeling months of bloke? You can't say that on Fan Talk.
The Powerhouse, 6:30 Friday.
It's Brisbane 3-5-23, leading Port Adelaide 3-4-22. This is a world title fight. Two contenders have been feeling each other out for the first round. And we're ready to go in the second. Brogan, the double tap. Pickett just explodes through the contest. High ball. Burgoyne, Treadray, Bradshaw all there. It spills to ground level. Weller wrapped up by Chad Corns. Weller will go again. Michael evades Primus. Takes it to the line. Throw in.
Good to see young Weller playing in front on that occasion, because when Brisbane said they didn't have any match-up problems, that's the one that I'm really concerned about at this point in time, Weller and Corns.
Corns 5 possessions, 3 marks in the opening term. Weller's had it twice. Keating thumps it outside 50. Pickett lurking. Gee, looks dangerous. He's won himself a free kick on that occasion. Held too long in the tackle. Byron has it 55 metres from goal.
Very dangerous in that part of the ground, Port Adelaide, a boundary throw-in. Seemed to get it done very well. Byron Pickett in very good form.
Hands off to Guerra. Brisbane were awake up to it. So Pickett goes to Cassisi. Kick missed Paxman. Chance for Ackermanis and or Pike. Pike a little give. Stood up in the tackle. Gave it to Hart. Dribbles it out towards Bradshaw. Handball to the run of White. White goes to the wing. Brown presents himself. Works hard. Jonathan Brown. Outstanding. 194 centimetres and 102 kilos. And he strained every sinew to get to that one.
Just working himself into form over the last couple of weeks.
That knocked him around too. As he kicks to half forward, he's on his haunches behind the play. Hit the ground hard with his head as Voss gets it to Ackermanis. Goes high. Marking option is Lynch. Spills off his hands. Gathers at ground level. Wheels around as Lynch from 45. Pulls it back too far. Montgomery, the goal umpire, and Wanganeen will watch it go out of bounds on the full. Wanganeen brings it back in to his partner in crime, Montgomery. One of the best half-back double acts in the competition. So much uncontested ball. Montgomery finds Pickett on the half volley. Clean hands from Treadray. Just feeds it back to Pickett. Steps around McGrath. He's done it once. This time McGrath almost learnt the lesson. Got him. Pickett slipped away. Bombs a spiral inside 50. Corns off his chest. Butters up at ground level. Evades Voss. Goes with the left. To the goal square. Primus, Michael, still alive. Now it's through from behind. And we're all locked up. 2.5 minutes gone, second term.
Go on, Terry, take the credit. It is the matchup that doesn't look good.
Nah, look, the one I was just having a bit of a laugh or a bit of a smile around this. It's like a heavyweight title match. Having a look at Primus and Mel Michael go at each other.
Yeah, Joe Buckner, though, and George Foreman, I think.
Without his fat-free grill. Scores level at 3-5 apiece. We've gone almost 3 minutes in the second term. The ball's with Ashley McGrath. Goes around the wing. Cassisi at the front of the contest. Couldn't quite bring it down. Ackermanis explodes away from the congestion. Paxman and Brown jostle. Play on the call. Brogan to Wanganeen. Into the centre. Guerra tried to tap it on. Carr gathers. Quick hands looking for Schofield. Black in there working hard. Schofield numbers win out. McRae arrives in support. Black goes again. McRae over the top of it. And a bounce.
That's what they don't like to do, Port. Kick to a 50-50 contest. They ended up losing possession of it there. They normally have that free player, the league player out. That's what Brisbane's trying to stop.
Keating and Brogan. Neither really an effective tap. Hart bumped off it by Schofield. Just taken high. Arm went over the shoulder. And it's coming back to the 2001 Norm Smith medalist Sean Hart. Playing game 244 for Brisbane this evening. Debuted way back in 1990 from Shepparton.
Certainly not a classic game at the moment, but it's just, as you said earlier, it's an arm wrestle at the moment. You just don't know which way it's going to go.
Shades of their round 22 epic last year, Chris, where it's low scoring, but it's tight and tough with one-on-ones all over the ground.
And just got more brutal as the game went on. This is far from over, and it's a classic in the making.
It's just developing nicely at the moment. Hart found Noddy, tried to step around Bishop, who got him. Pike finds Keating, 60 metres from goal. Wheels onto the right boot, thumps it long. They'll contest at the top of the square. Wakeland flies off his hands. McRae lurking. Wanganeen all over him. Free kick. Didn't quite take possession, Craig McRae. Wanganeen had little choice, had to give it a try.
They're the worrying matchups. Craig McRae and Luke Power both looks to be fairly free inside Brisbane's forward 50.
McRae's darting eyes, wants to give it off, and does. Finds Brad Scott.
The matchups aren't quite right. Gavin Wanganeen doesn't look 100% fit tonight, and Craig McRae is creating a lot of space. Luke Power's trying to get himself onto Nick Stevens. So there's a 3 or 4 way tussle going on there, working in Brisbane's favour. One of them's getting loose. On this occasion, Brad Scott again, chance to kick his second goal. And things in Brisbane's forward line just going slightly in their favour.
He's only kicked 3 goals, 6 for the season coming into this one. Kicked a goal in the opening term. And a chance here to restore the lead for the Brisbane Lions. It's on its way. Can it sneak inside the left post? No, sir. 1 goal, 1 to Brad Scott. Brisbane lead by the barest of margins. They're 3-6-24. Port Adelaide 3-5-23. We've played almost 6 minutes.
Mark Williams reacting too to the dominance of Jason Ackermanis. Stewie Cochran's on and taking up the role on him.
Wanganeen around the outer side to the wing, to the run of Paxman. Tries to keep it alive, can't do so. Throw in.
Interesting, with Bishop getting so much easy ball from the kickouts in the first quarter, Brisbane have gone now on a man-to-man basis, but I don't think it'll work for them. Teams these days are just too pinpoint accurate with their use of the football.
Throw in. Keating, the double fist. James got first hands on it as he has a number of times this evening. Black toe poked it to his own advantage. Miscommunication between he and Ackermanis. Oh, Guerra crunches through Sean Hart. And he's been KO'd for the umpteenth time in his career. As the ball goes out of bounds, but Brent Guerra was just running straight through the football. Courage from Sean Hart. He's up and about.
Great football collision. Guerra takes the ball, which you want a player to do every time. Arm down. Nothing wrong with that at all. Guerra was at it last week too against the West Coast, continuing it this week.
Well, you said this game was going to get more brutal, Chris. And you're quite right. This will be a war of attrition tonight. Brogan and Keating. Here's a chance for Cochran on the ground for his first touch. Keating takes him down as well. Holding the ball. 2 great physical sides going at it here at the Gabba. Trust are enjoying it right around Australia. This one is developing very nicely.
That was tremendous football by Guerra. We don't like to see people getting hurt in this game, but he didn't step across the line of the footy. He actually went and won the ball and then made the collision. It was great play.
It's been a free kick, bit of holding off the ball, I think, and it's going Port Adelaide's way to Cochrane. That caught a few by surprise. Power worked his man under it. Burgoyne spins around. Pickett has got it in the forward pocket, 20 metres out for a goal. And another one of those baffling ones. It's got everybody perplexed.
Again, we had to refer to last week. We saw it twice last week, both falling in Port Adelaide's favour. Again tonight, everybody running one way.
There's
Port Adelaide taking advantage and lead. No,
he's perplexed.
With it being such a man-on-man game, when you get a turnaround like that, it gets players out loose. And it was just like a fast break with players just running inside 50, and it ended up being Byron Pickett, the one on the end of it.
I think Lee's trying to find out who to abuse. He's not sure yet. But there was definitely a huddle forming at centre-half forward for Brisbane. Bit of push and shove. A hold of a jumper. And the ball ends up with Byron Pickett from the angle. Doesn't like it. It's a behind. 2 behinds to Byron this evening. And the score's locked up yet again. 3-6 apiece. We've played 8.5 minutes, second term at the Gabba.
It's an amazing game, isn't it? Big stakes, and people just tightening up that little bit, missing set shots that they normally kick.
So Ashcroft with the kicking in duties. To the broadcast side, looking for White, and he takes the mark. Had the size advantage over Roger James and exploited it. Back now to Michael. Switches play to the outer side and finds McGrath. Well has slipped away from Primus and takes the mark. Just backward to the wing. Looks up. Goes to the run of Voss. Brisbane have created the loose man. If it sits for Voss, he's away. Carr closes on him. Voss goes to the pocket almost for Brad Scott. Bounces to his feet to keep it alive. Was good football. Nodding. Stevens flashed into picture. He's taken down by Brad Scott. Voss arrives. Little handball. Picked off by Carr. He goes round the wing. It's going to come straight back. Copeland to Weller. Weller inside 50. McRae almost. Some desperate football on the outer side. We've played almost 10 minutes. Scores locked together at 3 goals, 6, 24 apiece.
Contest at ground level is outstanding. Brisbane maybe with a slight advantage at this stage. Some strong bodies through the footy. Michael Voss leading by example.
Throw in. Lynch and Brogan. It spills to McRae. Taken down by Schofield. Play on was the call. Stevens back to Schofield. On the right. Voss goes back with courage and stands underneath it to take the mark.
Well, that's his specialty.
Being special. That's his specialty. Voss inside 50. On the half volley was a tough one for Lynch. Wants to fend off Corns, who got a fair piece of him. They converge. Wakeland. Cochrane in there for support as well. And a bounce. Free kick over the shoulder. Umpire came in late, Matthew James. And it's against Darryl Wakeland. Going to Alistair Lynch.
Well, they really don't look frightened, the umpires, of calling free kicks inside 50 to the forwards. I think earlier in the season that was something we didn't see a lot of, Jason, but we've already seen a couple of occasions in this match where they paid the free kicks when they've been there.
2 touches for Lynch so far this evening. As in he comes. Crosses the 50. From the boundary line, Lynch. It's going to float across the face of goal. It's still alive. Danger. McRae lurks. Umpire says it clears the line for a behind. So Brisbane edge in front once again. They're 3-7-25. Port Adelaide 3-6-24. We've played 11.5 minutes as Stevens brings it in quickly. They played the huddle and found tread rate. Defensive 60. Great. He goes on the fast break to Montgomery, who stretches and gets there 60 from home. Great transition football from Port Adelaide. Montgomery, Ted Touch, leads the game. Goes to Corns, just lost his man. Weller slipped at the vital stage, and Corns marks uncontested. Tight angle, but only 25 metres out.
Well, for those old-timers that want to see man-on-man that the kick-outs come back in, you just saw exactly then why it doesn't work anymore. The ball's just been taken from one end of the ground to the other. The players are so good with their pinpoint accuracy, as Treadray showed when he hit Montgomery.
Can he finish? Chad Corns keeps it low, guides it through. Port Adelaide back in front. Chad Corns gets his first. Port Adelaide their fourth. They lead by 5 points. We've played 12.5 minutes, second term.
Yeah, and the two key power forwards, Treadray and Corns, involved in that movement. Chad Corns just getting young Weller on the wrong foot, pushing him over, and that big strong body that he's developed over the last couple of years really paying dividends. And he is looking dangerous. Chad Corns up forward. He and Jonathan Brown could be the difference.
There's Lee Matthews watching on. His side trails by 5 points as we approach the 13-minute mark of the second term. Keating in the ruck against Brogan. Brogan the tap. Pike to run onto it for Brisbane. Handball to Copeland. To the outer side. Shattuck just snuck away from Guerra. Takes the mark. Steps inside. Gets onto his right boot. Penetrating kick inside 50. Lynch! Play on. Power from the angle. Clever! Luke Power swooped on the crumbs. He saw the play on call. Pounced. Laid it across his boot. Knew exactly what he was doing and executed perfectly.
There was a tremendous effort. Lynch's attack on the football. He just wiped out the whole pack on that occasion. Left the small players on the deck, and it was Power that actually got up to his feet quicker than anyone else in the action.
There's a man down for Port Adelaide. You mentioned Alistair Lynch. Cleaning up. It's Darryl Wakeland. Got crunched.
He just crashed the pack, Lynch.
And Wakeland feeling sore and sorry for himself. Deep inside defence for Port Adelaide. Brisbane back in front by a point. There's Wakeland from the side. Clash of heads there with McRae. And down he goes. What a brutal contest this is developing into. Voss. Handball over the top to Ashcroft. Goes long to the goal square. Stevens and Power. Free kick, Port Adelaide. It's coming back as Wakeland's to his feet, but struggling.
He's off.
Good job by Bishop then. He had to take Lynch instead and wrestle with him while Wakeland was injured.
Bishop has it. Goes straight up the middle of Burgoyne. What a game this is developing into. Out in front of Montgomery. He gathers. Pike approaches, so he flips a handball over to James. Can go to Pickett, goes inboard to Burgoyne. Now to Pickett. Pickett's released at 40. He runs to 35. Tugs it left. And misses. 3 behinds to Byron Pickett.
You're surprised he just didn't take a little bit of a sidestep there and open up the angle for himself. Just ran straight at goals and just shortened himself up a little bit with somebody right on his hammer.
Darryl Wakeland going off though has forced Mark Williams into a reshuffle. Chad Corns was proving dynamic up in the forward 50. He's been forced back to Jonathan Brown. The job he's done well before, but that certainly does hurt Port Adelaide.
Ashcroft to Voss to Bradshaw. As Corns handled himself very well against Jonathan Brown in round 22 last year. It was a surprise move, but it worked. And Williams reverts to it tonight. Free kick to Martin Pike in the back against Roger James.
Because it really takes away some of their potency up forward also.
Bit of momentum swing at the moment, you would think, towards Brisbane. Really important time for them now. Got to get a score on the board.
Saw the lead from Lynch. Pike will go further afield. It's a tumbling kick. It'll drop short. And Wangani read it beautifully and marks defensive 50. Goes short to Chad Corns. He's got some space. Looks up. Will go to Treadray. Bradshaw in front. Treadray with strength. Bradshaw did well. Kept his eyes on it. Brought it to ground. And Brisbane haven't been hurt by that matchup. He'd be very happy with that, Lee Matthews, as we head down to Bill McDonald.
Yeah, a little bit of concern being shown for Darryl Wakeland. The doctor's actually seeing him at the moment, wiping a bit of blood away from the ear, which could be a nasty sign. So we'll keep an eye on that. They're also having a look at his left knee, so there may be some trouble with that as well when he actually hit the ground.
James to Burgoyne, inside 50, Treadray in front, hands off to Carr, on the right boot from 40 metres out, goes for it, and gets it. Port Adelaide back in front. Josh Carr gets his second, and it's on at centre-half forward. The two skippers, Primus and Voss. We know there's no love lost between these two sides. And so much riding on this game psychologically.
Well, that was just another 1-2 combination between Treadray and Carr. I just think with Bradshaw, having not played full games for so long, he's just got to hang in on Treadway. That time he just seemed to blow up, just couldn't go the yardage with his direct opponent.
So a bit of niggle. Treadway laid a big hit on Voss rather. Primus came in to remonstrate as well. And there was a bit of push and shove between the two skippers. Look at that. Reasonably placid generally. And then they arrived from all angles. Plenty riding on this game.
Just good aggressive stuff.
Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it? It's caught by a goal. We've played 18 minutes in the second term. Brogan crunched by Charman in that ruck contest, and Brogan goes back to seek more. The ball will go inside 50 for Port. Carosella tracks back. It's a hot football at the moment. Pickett, the smother, couldn't get the run of it. Shattuck and Carr, it's up for grabs. Carr put his body on the line, flips it to James. Little handball to Cockatoo Collins, who's on the ground. From 45 out, goes to the goal square. Primus, got it. Plays on quickly, goes back and finds Cockatoo Collins 35 metres out. Well, it's a hot ball at the moment.
Yeah, it's a great game, and really it's everything flowing both ways. Only a couple of minutes ago we were saying that the momentum had shifted the Lions' way. Well, all of a sudden, over the last 2 minutes, it's gone back the other way to Port.
Just flexing their muscles, Chris. The two sides just testing each other out.
Sure have Byron Pickett, the key player at the moment, with his strong attack on the footy, getting his hands on the ball as well, setting up some opportunities for Port.
Presence of mind from Cockatoo Collins. Didn't want to kick him the man on the mark. He's kicked 13 goals for this season.
Big kick to give them some space.
Will be a 2-goal buffer when it's really been goal for goal throughout the entire match. Cockatoo Collins on its way. Looks good off the boot. He likes it. Port have got the break. Cockatoo Collins gets his first, and the Power just sneak away to a 2-goal buffer as we approach time on in the second.
Such a great impact player, Touche Cockatoo Collins, straight off the bench. Certainly knows how to get his hands on the football and how to finish. Ashley McGrath having a tough afternoon. And as we said, it was all Brisbane, but momentum has swung very quickly. Port Adelaide now seemingly with some control.
So a show of strength, but the momentum with Port Adelaide. They lead by 2 goals as we hit time on in the second term. Terrible bounce in the centre. Umpire calls play on. Slap towards Ackermanis. Polton attacks it. Taken down. Pike to Ackermanis, who'd push forward. Runs to 50 metres. Tumbles a kick to the goal square. The bouncing ball would have almost gone through. Wanganeen there. Free kick. Brisbane to Lynch. You can see the umpire there telling Paxman it's for a hole. And Lynch will go back and reduce the margin to 6 points. They're going punch for punch.
Well, this is the match-up change, and it's exactly what Port didn't want to happen. They were nice and settled with their back line. Wakeland playing on Lynch. Paxman out at centre-half back. That's changed now. Lynch gets an easy free kick.
Lynch for his first. And it's back to a goal of difference at the Gabba. Important goal, that one for Brisbane. Keeps the margin manageable.
Not happy either, Stephen Paxman. Not a man who shows a great lot of emotion. But when you get caught body on body with Alistair Lynch, you are not going to win too often. And even though it was slight, and maybe a little bit both ways, the free kick was probably there. And Alistair Lynch can milk him and kicks a big goal for the Lions.
Well, the two old Fitzroy teammates, Stephen Paxman and Alistair Lynch, played 3 years together at Fitzroy from 91 to 93. Lynch gets the honours on this occasion. Margin back to a goal. Charman and Brogan. Black to run onto it. Fumbled, picked up by Corns, great smother. Oh, they pile in, Voss on top of it. Shattuck laid the smother initially, Voss won the free kick.
Kane Corns doing a fantastic job on Simon Black. 5 touches in the first quarter to Simon Black, only 1 in the second. The key Brisbane playmaker out of the game at the moment.
Just marquee matchups all over the field at the moment. Voss to centre half forward. Ball at ground level still alive. Burgoyne got his hands free, got it to Corns. Jonathan Brown tracks it. Little handball to Brad Scott. on the overlap to Shattuck. Goes inside 50. Carousel has slipped away. And he marks 40 metres out, 45-degree angle. And a chance to level the scores.
Well, that'll happen a little bit with Brett Montgomery. Montgomery's role in the Port side is to go back defensively and be the third man into the contest. Every now and then he'll leave his opponent a fraction early, and this is what you've got to do. You've just got to be able to find a target and find his direct opponent at times.
Well, 3 minutes ago, Brisbane trailed by 12 points. The reigning champs have responded. And that hit from Carousel just fades left. Missed opportunity, 2 behinds to him, and the margin back to 5 points.
Just further to that, I mean, Montgomery's an excellent player for Port. He's been a very damaging player offensively, and that's why you just have to hurt him the other way.
Just under 5.5 minutes remaining to half-time. Beautiful kick from Stevens. Hits Polton. Handball to the run of Paxman. Long kick. Kane Corns the target. Black tracks it back. Great effort from Corns, and he takes the mark.
Once again, the huddle boys, Terry, I know you hate it. They're not happy with it, but again, it just doesn't work, does it? And Port Adelaide exploiting it with a kicker of Nick Stevens' ability.
Corns to Polton. Steps inside a man. Runs to 45. Goes for home. Bradshaw tracks it back. Mark paid. Just inside the goal line.
Well, I'm tipping when they get themselves restructured, Brisbane at half-time, we won't see it after that, after the half-time break.
Jason Ackermanis missed last week with a back-related hamstring. I'd like to presume that's got something to do with it. Sharman. Cochrane lays a shepherd. Burgoyne flipped it towards the line. Deliberate, says Matthew James. And a free kick to Brisbane. Port by 5 points. 4.5 minutes remaining in the second term as Shattuck goes towards Keating. It clears him and finds the burly chest of Jonathan Brown. Centre wing. To half forward. Notting attacked it. Spills off his hands to Bishop. Kane Corns. Sweeping handball. Sets up Wanganeen. Switch play. Carr's out there. Has got Paxman on the overlap and uses him now. So Paxman trying to work Lynch up the ground. Kicks to the wing. Bradshaw attacked it. Kept it in front of him. There's Lynch. Followed Paxman all the way to the wing. Treadray and Bradshaw. Some big bodies over this one. Lurking was Cochrane. Going nowhere. Wrapped up by Copeland. And slammed into the Gabba turf. 4 minutes remaining in the second term. Port Adelaide by 5 points.
Great work by Warren Treadray again. Against 2 of the biggest bodies in the competition. Took them on, forced a draw.
So Ackermanis receives more treatment to his back and hamstring. Polton again emerges from the congestion. Low kick inside 50. Cockatoo Collins has come up with it. It was a daisy cutter. McGrath gave it everything. But Cockatoo Collins takes the mark.
Well, it was just a great kick. I mean, to be under pressure, trying to burst away from a pack like that, to be able to drill it, and it hit your man on a hard lead. That was a wonderful kick.
Certainly part of Jared Polton's game that he's really improved the last couple of years. There's probably a question mark over his kicking a couple of years ago, but much improved in that department.
There's the reverse angle behind Cockatoo Collins. Has already kicked one from here in the second term. Almost the carbon copy. The margin's 11 points. So 2 goals to Shea Cockatoo Collins. He's been an important addition to this game in the second term.
Well, they're just really what they're trying to do at the moment is they're just trying to exploit McGrath. Trying to play him virtually as a full back right down in the goals. Cockatoo Collins just leading out as a full forward. The 2 goals that he's kicked in this quarter have just been vital to Port's ascendancy at the moment.
Great work by Warren Treadray too. I mean, he gets the neutral ball, the turnover and the goal.
So Cockatoo Collins with 2. The Port's lead is back out to 11 points. Dying stage of second term. 26.5 minutes gone. Hart. There's Primus in off the square. Pike. Wrapped up by Primus. And a secondary bounce. Important 3 minutes remaining in this second term. Port Adelaide back out to that handy little buffer. So take a look at the leading disposals on the ground. Josh Carr and Michael Voss. 12 and 11 respectively. Montgomery tracks it back for Port. Ackermanis approaches him. He's back on the ground for Wanganeen. Back to Montgomery. They work so well off each other. Montgomery lining up for his 13th touch.
It's amazing the two players playing on each other have got the most disposals, but what it is they're just both ball getters. They're just in and under all the time.
What it didn't show is the people who haven't got much of the footy. Nick Stevens with only 4 disposals to nearly half-time. Simon Black with only 6.
Voss sets himself and marks. Primus arrived late and gives away 50. There's been a bit of history in this quarter between the two of them. We've already seen that. And umpire Gavin Dorr was right onto it.
And that's the part of the Michael Voss's game that Josh Carr can't go with his overhead marking. He is such a strong, courageous overhead mark. So clean, one take. It's an area that Josh Carr is not strong at, and something that I'm sure Voss will be able to exploit if he decides to push forward and as the game progresses.
Umpire deeming that to be unnecessary contact.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot in it. I didn't think there was a lot in it at all, but once your knees go into a player's back, once they've marked, you're in a little bit of strife.
It's an important kick for the skipper to bring them back within a goal again. And he really disappoints Michael Voss. 5 points the margin. Twisting and turning this game, Port Adelaide tried to make a break on a couple of occasions. Every time they look over their shoulder, there's Brisbane.
Well, and the man on screen, he's the one, Michael Voss. He really has lifted them in this second quarter. I thought he was a little quiet in the first quarter, just worked his way into the game. But certainly this second quarter, he's been just driving them out of the middle on a regular basis. Overhead marking is outstanding, and that was the captain's goal.
So Michael Voss leads the game for Brisbane in more ways than one. He has 12 possessions and a goal. Gets his side back within 5 points. 29 minutes gone, second term. Less than 2 minutes remaining till half-time. Schofield thought about the give. Went himself. Michael attacks it. Spills to Keating. To Sean Hart, only as far as Cochrane. He can square up to Schofield. Tense touch for Jared Schofield. To Polton. He's shown a bit in the second term, Jared Polton. The kick long. Brogan sets himself. Shattuck arrived late and forced the contest. It spills to White. Sells the dummy to Brogan. Comes away from defensive 50. Goes wide looking for power. Just had a couple of metres on Polton. And leaves him grasping at thin air. Goes to Ackermanis. Wanganeen worked him under it. Carousella was too slow. Taken down by Corns, who won the ball. On the burst to Stevens through the middle of the gather. Pushes wide. Carr on the half volley. Voss to shut him down. Carr goes sideways. Good pressure from Michael Voss. Pickett and Voss collide. Two of the tough men of football, and they both get up. Cockatoo Collins rather. McGrath. Carousella and Corns will fly. It spills to Pike. We're building. 40 seconds left. Brown. The crowd rises. Here's Pike. Runs to 30. Burgoyne gets him. Goal-saving tackle. Corns is taken down as well. Holding the ball. And it's all from the boundary, Ackermanis. And it's paid advantage. What a passage of play. Unbelievable football from two great sides.
I mean, just classic football, wasn't it? The forward pressure from Brisbane, the punch and the counter punch, and Jason Ackermanis, the magic, to finish it off with. Jonathan Brown, the superb tackle when Chad Corns appeared to have got loose. The free kick was there. The advantage rule comes into play. And that's special.
It's worth a try from there, isn't it, Terry? Because if the kick goes nowhere, they'll bring it back and you'll get another shot.
Well, it just lifted the lid off the stadium here. What about the clash in the middle of the ground between Voss and Pickett?
Well, what a game. Brisbane are back in front. Dying stages of the second term. Keating. Copeland. Hard in there. He's been decked and got up already in this game. Pickett in there working hard again. It's flipped out. Hart. Taken by Pickett. Spills to Ashcroft. White. Voss. Siren. And what a first half of football. It doesn't matter who you barrack for, whether it's Brisbane, Port Adelaide or any other team. That was a first half to savour. These two teams have a wonderful history. of promising big games and delivering. And at half-time, the Brisbane Lions 7-8-50, Port Adelaide 7-7-49, and we are set for a classic second half.
Well, it's simmered early, and now it's on the boil. It's just been a fantastic game. The thing that I've loved about the match is just the ability of both sides to lay the tackle. No one's going to get past the player at any stage in this game.
Well, Terry, you said at the start of the game that you expected it to be brutal. It certainly is that. It's going to be a game of attrition. There's a question mark over Brisbane's depth. Well, it's going to get tested tonight, and we're in for a classic second half.
It's a ripping first half of football. Brisbane led by a point at quarter time. They lead by a point at half-time. It's Brisbane 7-8-50. The top of the table, Port Adelaide 7-7-49.
Join me and the grumpy old men team as we take on the lovely ladies living with footballers on Dropkick right here on Fox Footy.
Tuesday night footy on Fox Footy. Dropkick, 8:30 Eastern.
Two wandering souls together apart, a snapshot of the heart. Two drifting shadows fall in the same dream.
Sony Cybershot, available now at Harvey Norman.
It's a Sony.
The 1.8-litre Nissan Pulsar is proud to partner with Fox Footy Channel to bring you all the action of the 2003 AFL Premiership season. Get your team lineups first.
As usual, we've got all the teams.
We're going actually for Carlton.
Oh, again?
That play was at a different game. It's 38 seconds into the show, and you're having a crack at me already, mate.
Oh, well, it's going to be decided on oratory, is it? We're going to have a debate, are we?
Don't think, don't hope, do.
But that's like...
I've got one of your speeches. Come on, boys, pen to paper. Let's have a good day at the Hilltown today.
There's one for the promo.
Fox League teams, live Thursday nights, 8:30.
The Brisbane Lions are back out on the ground. Port Adelaide yet to re-emerge. Half-time, it's the Lions by 1 point, 7-8-50. Port Adelaide are 7-7-49. Ripping game of football, this one. Everything we hoped it would be. Here come Port Adelaide. One other game of round 17 action on this evening. It's in Melbourne. The Western Bulldogs facing Richmond at the Telstra Dome. Replay scheduled on various networks, so if you don't want to know the score, look away now. Let's head boundary side. Here's Bill McDonald.
Thanks, Jason. Very cool down here, but I should say a very warm reception for the Brisbane Lions when they went off at half-time. Obviously, the fans up here know they're under the pump a little bit in terms of winning games at the moment, and they got a standing ovation, and the Lions chant went up for them, so they'll be pretty pumped coming out in the second half. Some bad news, though, for Port on the injury front. Just have a look over there now, and Darryl Wakelin, the fullback, is limping. It's the left ankle, so it was this contest we saw early in that second quarter, the marking contest. He came down, had a heavy collision with the head, so I think there was a bit of concussion there as well, but the main concern with him at the moment is also the ankle, and he's coming around in the tracksuit top, and it doesn't look like he's going to be starting at all in this quarter, so that's a big loss for Port.
Thanks, Bill. It's been a brutal game, Chris McDermott, and as we often see in this situation, a player can get just temporarily knocked unconscious, can lead to an injury elsewhere.
There's been some incredible clashes, the Boss Primus, the Boss Pickett, the Hart Guerra, the Wakelin Scott, which we've just seen then. And as we said, it's going to be a game of attrition. Who has got the fit 18 men left standing at the end of the game? You've got to get the feeling that Port Adelaide have got the greater depth, but it's a fantastic game, and the matchups all over the ground. The Bradshaw Treadray one has been tremendous. Scott Stevens, Black and Corns, Black only 7 touches, and the classic one, Boss and Carr, both with over a dozen touches each, a couple of goals. just the arm wrestle continues.
Putting the coach's hat on, Terry. Where to from here for Lee Matthews and Mark Williams? What are they both trying to orchestrate in this third term?
Well, one of the things that I'm interested in seeing early on the piece is just what Brisbane are going to do about their defensive efforts to stop the kick-ins for Port. They've been getting really destroyed in that area of the game all match, so it'll just be interesting to see how they go about that, whether they go back to a zone defence or man-on-man.
Does Lee Matthews go tall now in the forward line, now that Port Adelaide are one tall down and Wakeland's gone? Does he try and stretch him at the other end? He's already pulled Corns back, so they're obviously worried about the height. Does he try and do something like that and exploit them up forward?
Well, we see White going forward at the moment, so it looks that way. Just try to put a little bit of responsibility onto Montgomery, who will be his direct opponent, so he may have to stay at home a little bit more often rather than dragging him up the ground.
Second half from the Gabba. The Lions lead by a point. Keating and Brogan resume hostilities. It comes down to Simon Black. Pumps it inside 50. Montgomery and Wanganeen attack it. There's Montgomery, got the run of it. And happy to take it to the line. Matthew Primus starting on the bench in his third term for Port Adelaide.
Very pleased to see Mark Williams go back with Chad Corns in the forward end of the ground. I think that's the way that they had to go. They've given Bishop the responsibility to take on Brown. I think that's the right move.
So throw in, deep in the forward pocket for the Brisbane Lions. Brogan, clean hands, over the head of Cochrane. Brad Scott, later Shepherd. Ackermanis dropped the football. Stevens tackled, brought down by Black. Cochrane, slung to ground by Scott. Kane Corns to Wanganeen. Twisting and turning, uncertain of his options. Goes wide towards Stevens. And he claims it just inside the line, much to the disgust of Brad Scott. Plays on the picket and finds him at defensive 50. Treadway, long searching lead, is honoured by Byron Pickett. And he's got it just back to the centre wing. Warren Treadway, 6 possessions, 1 mark in the opening half. A kick cut off by Copeland. It was a gutsy effort. It was a long thundering lead from Chad Corns. Jeez, we've seen some impacts tonight.
Well, you're being made to earn every kick that you get out there on the football field tonight, and this is, it's just such a brave game when you're doing that. Copeland had no idea what was coming behind him, just kept his eyes on the football.
So Robert Copeland will thump it long. They'll contest 60 metres out from goal. Brown got hands to it. Sean Burgoyne wrapped up by Carousella. Going nowhere. As we head boundary side, here's Bill McDonald.
Well, you mentioned there was a cloud over Matthew Primus coming into the game. He's wincing a bit sitting on the bench, having his right knee rubbed.
It's been the problem for him in recent times. He spent the last 2 weeks, Chris, parked in the forward line, not really able to get onto the ball at all.
No, we've seen him move tonight on a couple of occasions for marks. He's not moving freely at all. That's got to be a worry to Mark Williams.
Black emerges from the congestion. Handball to Carousella. Socket out of his hands by Polton. And another stop play. A bit of a stalemate early in this third term as the two sides just feel each other out again.
Yeah, Simon Black just down on a little bit of confidence. Like to see him get his hands on the ball early in this quarter.
Keating and Brogan. Plenty of players around this one. Keating working on hands and knees. Umpire brings it in for another bounce.
The other aspect with Primus not there, it just doesn't make him quite as tall up there forward line. It allows Mel Michael to go and play on Corns.
Black swoops on the loose football. Handball to Ackermanis. Inside 50, tracking back as Montgomery. Couldn't quite get there. Lynch and Wanganeen. Great Shepherd. Laid by Polton. Allowed Wanganeen to get it through to Guerra. High ball. Treadway attacks it. Smothers the bounce. Michael arrives. Bradshaw in support. Suckers to the line. Throw in 60 metres out from Port Adelaide's goal.
Chris, how will the mobility aspect of Michael on Corns? If Corns gets him up the ground and works him over?
And he does run very hard, Chad Corns, too. He's certainly going to earn his money tonight, Mel Michael.
Well, the third terms have been Brisbane's strength this season. They're 13-3 in the third quarters. They've used it to make their move. But Port Adelaide pretty handy as well. They're 11-5. Carousella. Handball to Black. Works back to Carousella. Handball to Ackermanis. Now Pike. Looks up. Goes long. White will fly. It spills to the back. Brown didn't get the bounce. Montgomery paddles it through to Polton. Chance for Port Adelaide off halfback. To Guerra. Low spearing kick. Good strong hands by Chad Corns. Just forward of the wing. Will kick long. They'll contest 35 metres out from goal. Thundering lead from Treadray again. Voss stood in the way. Stevens to Treadray, releases Carr, tries to bend it back and does. First blood in the third term to Port Adelaide. Well, Josh Carr's got 3. That equals his all-time best.
And 3 of them all handballed from Treadray. I think they'd look like they're waxing a little bit out there at the moment.
But a great sign of a tagger. I mean, he's got an enormous job on Michael Voss, and we've spoken a lot about how great Michael Voss has been. But don't underestimate Josh Carr by any means. 15 touches, 3 goals. That is a fantastic performance. And a very important start of the third quarter to Port.
Well, Josh Carr with 3 goals, that's a huge bonus. It's been standing Michael Voss all night and just able to work off him. Voss drawn to that contest.
Well, it's a fascinating duel. Voss probably in the latter part of the second quarter was the best player, the most dominant player on the ground, but 3 goals to Carr. I mean, that equates to probably, each goal probably equates to 4 possessions, especially in a tight game like this. He has to have the advantage at this stage, kicking 3 out of the midfield.
Both sides, both players rather, they're leading ball getters for their sides. Carr's had 14 and kicked 3. Might have a change of boundary umpire. I think that's what the delay is. And Michael Voss has 12 possessions for Brisbane with 1 goal to lead his side.
Gives Voss some thinking to do about his game now as well. He just can't just play his own natural game and just run free. He has to play defensive on Carr as well, so it'll give him some real thoughts.
It's a double whammy, wasn't it? He stood and copped a pounding from Treadray, and then his man peeled off and kicked the goal. So it's Port by 5 points. We've played 5.5 minutes in the third. James punts it forward, only as far as the Brisbane bench.
Do appear to be doing all the chasing though, Brisbane, don't they? Port Adelaide get a couple of goals ahead. Brisbane have to peg them back. It's going to wear them out at some stage. They need to get a break. Brisbane need to get their nose in front, get a little bit of confidence and a bit of momentum.
It'd certainly change the dynamic, wouldn't it, if Brisbane could be the ones to get a bit of a buffer, maybe a 2-goal break. We haven't seen that tonight. And again, a stalemate. As is so often the case in these intense contests, players come out after half-time, Terry, and the first 5 or 10 minutes can be quite a lull.
Yeah, so they're just feeling each other out again, and it'll break open again.
Ruck infringement. It's going the way of Port Adelaide to Brogan. Hands off to Stevens. Spearing kick inside 50 to the Cockatoo Collins lead. McGrath in the short sleeves after half-time. Pike wrapped up by Burgoyne. He's assaulted by Bradshaw. And a ball up just inside the forward 50 for Port. There's Mel Michael on the bench. Lee Matthews has had to alter his defensive structure, which has been so solid in the last couple of seasons. With players out of the side, key injuries to the likes of Lepich and Johnson. It's an unusual looking back line.
It is. It was the one that we were talking about, wasn't it, with Mel Michael on corns running around the ground. They've got Notting, who's probably a better matchup now.
Simon Black has it on the boundary line, which is where we find Bill McDonald. Come back to Bill shortly for an update on the injured umpire. And a throw in. 5 points the margin. We've played 7.5 in the third term. And again, it's like 2 prize fighters, if we can go back to the boxing analogy. They're just dancing around the ring at the moment, just throwing the occasional jab, but no one's really unleashed a flurry of punches in the third term as yet. Keating and Brogan. Here's Pike. Ackermanis paddles it forward to his own advantage. Where approaches, sidesteps inside. Stevens, and goes inside 50 to Power. Couldn't quite hang on. Wanganeen there to try and shut him down. Power flips it to Hart. Bends it back on the left. Brilliant goal. Again, Brisbane makes something out of nothing. Well, that all started with Jason Ackermanis on the wing. Twinkle toes, dancing feet, created the opportunity, and again, just when Brisbane needed one, they found it.
They certainly did need one. Jason Ackermanis and especially Simon Black having an influence in this early part of the third quarter. Great work by Luke Power to dish off. Hard kicks the goal, and Brisbane, more importantly, get their nose in front. They've needed to get in the lead. They've done that now. An important moment for Brisbane.
So 2 goals to Sean Hart. Luke Power worked in there hard as well. It all started with Ackermanis in the outer wing. And Brisbane back in front. Keating the tap. James wrapped up by Ackermanis. Just got boot to ball, but too late. Umpire had called for a secondary bounce.
I just think Brisbane look a far better side when they have those small players deep in the forward line. Power, as good as what he is as a midfielder, playing down there keeps Wanganeen really responsible and doesn't allow him to run off as much.
There's Luke Power, such a dangerous player. Keating, clean hands to White, to Ashcroft, to Black. Inside 50 again, Brisbane surging. Lynch.
Simon Black just getting on top of Kane Corns, getting a couple of very important takeaways at the clearances. And his beautiful foot disposal on that occasion finds Alistair Lynch on the burst. And just a little bit of a worrying sign. Brisbane just getting some momentum and their key players getting involved in the contest.
Amazing thing about this game is how quickly the momentum changes and how good these two sides are to reel it in and get it going back their way. Lynch misses. He's got 1-2 for the evening. And the margin now out to 2 points as we head down to Bill McDonald.
Yeah, unfortunately down here for umpire Gavin Dorr, he's had a blowout. It's an Achilles problem, so he's on ice for the rest of the night.
A devastated Gavin Dorr. Nick Stevens goes to Paxman, and they're again away from the defensive kick out to Treadway at half forward. Leave Bradshaw behind. High kick. Cockatoo, Collins and McGrath. Cockatoo, Collins. Free kick for holding. It's going back to McGrath. Umpire said he had a piece of the jumper. So McGrath has it. Spearing kick towards Pike. Clears that contest and another free kick. Again to Brisbane. Pike shepherded out of the contest.
The very interesting part of that movement, and I'm sure you were going to say, was the fact that Brisbane continued to huddle or continue to play man-on-man on the kickoffs, once again getting exposed badly.
Bodies flying everywhere. Another free kick, this time Port Adelaide.
Yeah, I just think it's going to cost them. If anything costs them in this match, I think that'll cost them. The ball's just travelling from one end of the ground to the other end too easy. It was just lucky that Cockatoo Collins just got a piece of the jumper, or otherwise they would have been kicking for goal.
So some stop-start football. Montgomery goes towards Treadray. Long lead, read it beautifully. Bradshaw ran under it. Treadray marks. Wheels onto the right. High ball. They'll contest 35 out. Getting to the front of the contest again is Carr. Well, he's kicked 3. If he goes back and kicks his 4th, will be a personal best for Josh Carr. He kicked 3 goals against the Western Bulldogs in 2001. He's got 3 tonight. Primus back on the ground replacing Dean Brogan. And what a bonus for Mark.
We're going to see if the camera picks it up. But Luke Power just lost sight of Josh Carr. Took his eye off the ball. A critical mistake. Josh High kept his eyes on it. Took the mark.
Carr for his 4th. Kick on its way. Doesn't have the legs to get there. And in the end it's a rush behind.
And some wasted opportunities too. Both sides having opportunities to kick goals that they would normally kick. As you said before, Jace, the pressure of this game taking its toll in more ways than one.
Ashcroft to McGrath.
Look how difficult the Brisbane side's finding to get the ball out of their end. It's stop-start play, where at the other end it's just travelling from one end to the other.
Copeland at defensive 50. Around the wing. Treadray cuts it off. Chance for Port Adelaide. Squares it up to Corns. Handball to Schofield. Calls Corns towards him. Sean Hart like a little terrier, yapping at his heels.
Oh, did well.
Did well. Put the pressure on. Forced the turnover. And Pike the beneficiary. 12th touch for Martin Pike. High ball. Montgomery and White. Brown at ground level gathers. Thumps it long. Towards 50. Wanganeen in best position. Takes the saving mark. Goes short to Bishop. Prominent early Matthew Bishop. Provided an enormous amount of run in that first term for Port Adelaide. Around the wing. Treadray again presents himself and takes the mark.
Certainly having a moment, Warren Treadray. Last 5 minutes been very good.
Getting the ball right up on the wing though. Goes to Pickett. Notting arrives. Fists it to the line. And still the arm wrestle continues.
Good coaching too by the Port Adelaide box. They've just got McGrath and Notting virtually playing out of the goal square. 2 players who don't want to be there. Their respective opponents are Corns and Cockatoo Collins. They just mix and match them just to get the wrong blokes in the goals.
It's a real chess game, isn't it? I'm sure Mark Williams and Lee Matthews are thoroughly enjoying the challenge. Copeland across the face of goal to open up some run. It's McGrath. Handball back inside to Ashcroft. They create the loose man now. It's Brad Scott, and he's away on centre wing. Can look up, go to Brown. He'll have to take it on the half volley. Did so. Twists and turns. Gives it to McRae. Thought about the little give. Goes looking for the line, but Polton will keep it in. White arrives late. Polton to Cockatoo Collins. 3-on-1 and at ground level. Numbers with Brisbane. Brown taken down Guerra. Got a piece of Brad Scott. Made sure he was going nowhere. And a bounce.
And once again, good play by Ashley McGrath, who was involved in that piece of action. He can't allow Cockatoo Collins to direct the traffic to him. He's got to get up the ground and run and play his natural game, not just always play defensively.
Pickett tries to keep it in front of him. Got it to Stevens. Handball over the top into the run of Cochrane. Ooh. Again, bodies on the line. Cockatoo Collins to Pickett. Will thump it high and long inside 50. Treadray tracks back. Notting attacks it. And sees it through for another rush behind.
Already some signs of some tired players. A couple of Brisbane players on that occasion going to ground when they'd normally hold their feet. Certainly going to be a physical game, or continue to be one. Players will tire. Port Adelaide's fitness has been fantastic all year. Certainly finished games off well.
So Ashcroft has it. Scores locked together. 15 and a half minutes gone. Just over 9 remaining. Goes looking for Pike and finds him.
Has this bloke ever play a bad game in a big match?
Triple premiership player, Martin Pike. 1 with the Roos and 2 with the Lions. Towards Brown. James Brown. Nodding to Black. Goes looking for White and finds him. Holds the ball aloft. The Darryl White trademark. Will go inside 50. Lynch. Reddit had too much on it. Carr's kick was smothered. Still alive for Brisbane. Here's Voss. Handball to Ackermanis. Gets back onto his right. Screws it back. Only as far as Polton. And he takes the relieving mark. Switches play. Guerra gathers just inside defensive 50. High ball to the wing. Montgomery and Hart. Montgomery went to ground. Hart a chance. Gets boot to ball back towards Ashcroft. Lunges. Couldn't quite. Throw in.
Nearly came off for Brisbane too. Michael Voss has pushed himself to full forward, isolating Josh Carr out of the goal square. Just couldn't get the footy to him.
Well, at least Josh Carr can't kick goals from there.
Ackermanis just feeling it. Maybe that hamstring or quad again. He's grimacing in pain. We'll keep an eye on him. Black in front of the contest. Gathers inside the line. Handball for Brown. He's having more of a presence in this third term. Bishop rides him into the dirt. Play on, umpire will now come in and bounce.
Talk about the influence Simon Black's had on the game in the third quarter. His direct opponent, Kane Corns, has missed 3 or 4 weeks with a broken bone in his left hand. Just appears to be struggling at this stage of the game.
So here's Brown, twisting and turning, got into open space. High ball. Polton stood underneath it and did well. The arm wrestle continues to Wanganeen. To the outer side, Burgoyne the target. Shattuck to beat. Kept it alive and did well. Away goes Sean Burgoyne. Can he set something up for Port Adelaide? Finds Cockatoo Collins at 50. Just enough from McGrath. Didn't give away the 50-metre penalty. Great effort from Copeland. Cuts across another lead. 2 such disciplined teams out there tonight that neither team can really gain the ascendancy.
At both ends of the ground, we saw Polton do it at one end of the ground, chipping in, third man in, and then at the other end of the ground, Copeland does exactly the same thing. Very disciplined play.
Wrapped up is Sean Burgoyne by Shattuck. As we head boundary side, here's Bill McDonald.
Lions bench got a fresh legs on the bench at the moment. We've got Daniel Bradshaw having treatment on a calf and Luke Weller having treatment on a hammy. He actually can't stretch out, so he's looking the worst of the 2.
Ackermanis grabbed by Burgoyne. And we'll go again. 25 metres out from Port Adelaide's goal. Scores a level. We've played 19 minutes in the third term. It's been quite an arm wrestle. Just 1 goal apiece. in the third quarter. James tries to break it open. Gets onto his left. Bends it back. Roger James. He likes it. Oh, what a goal. James has got his second. A piece of individual brilliance. And again, Port Adelaide with a 6-point buffer.
Why wouldn't you like it? As we said before, there is no better finisher at Albion than Roger James. Has kicked some big goals in his career so far. A big one last time they played Brisbane 2 at Amy Stadium late last year. Got such great body strength as well. Great either side of the body. Big goal in the context of the game. He is a talent, that is for sure.
Well, a huge goal from Roger James, because again, it means the Lions will play catch-up.
And it's been fairly significant that Carr and James kicking goals out of the midfield has just been so important to the Port side.
Carr's got 3, James 2. Port Adelaide back in front. Under 6.5 remaining. Is this the start of their move? Treadray puts it into the path of Pickett. Treadray will go again. Michael's got him. Back to Pickett. Free kick. Going to Port Adelaide. Warren Treadray. Held too long in the tackle. Thumps it long to the square. Brogan's there from the side. Fisted to the front of the contest. Chance for Guerra. He gathers. Handball to the run of Jew on the left. Misses. Well, they've just turned up the heat again, Port Adelaide, in the last couple of minutes. Again, the question will be asked of the Brisbane Lions.
And what a key player Stewie Jew is going to be. Hasn't had much game time in the first nearly 3 quarters. He's the fresh legs. We know Brisbane are almost out on their feet. Nothing to go to on the bench. Akamanis on the ground in some difficulty. Port appear to have the fresher bodies, the fresher legs. And maybe it's just starting to pay dividends.
Ashcroft to Michael. Long ball, Sharman the target. Brogan floated across, but Sharman did well, kept his eyes on it. Handball, releases power. Here's a chance for Brisbane. Brad Scott up the middle to Voss through his hands. Paxman in front of Lynch. Boots it wide. Sets Treadray a task. Lumbers after it. Pike there as well. Throw in, out of wing.
Well, Carr's playing some sort of game down there. Now he's playing a full back on Voss coming out of the goal. So he's kicked 3 goals. Now he's got to do a defensive job. Just did enough on that occasion.
Darryl White took it out of the ruck and in one movement looked to give it to Pike. Jew put the pressure on to hold it in. Cassisi lurking. And there's the reverse angle as Matthew James will come in and ball it up. He's just advising the cameraman we're going to be coming out that way. Leading stat getters, well, we mentioned Martin Pike with 18, Wanganeen 17, and there's Carr with 16. Jonathan Brown working overtime has 15 as well. Wanganeen taken down by Power, who picked his pocket. Goes inside 50. Lynch. Gee, we've seen some individual brilliance tonight. This time it was the creativity of Luke Power. And Lynch has kicked 1 goal too. It's a difficult shot from right up against the fence. The umpire's trying to bring him around. He's saying, well, I can't, Steve, get to that angle. He'll be up against the fence. So here's Lynch. On its way from the boundary. Gave it away to the near side. So 1 goal 3 for Alistair Lynch so far this evening. And the margin back to an even goal. Played 22.5 minutes in the third term, and you just get the feeling this one's going to the wire.
Yeah, it's just such a close game. We'll just have a look at these kick-outs again and see how they go.
Again, Port play the huddle and get a clear man. It's Carr. It's worked for them well all night.
Kick was a little deeper this time into the pocket, so they weren't able to get the 1, 2, 3 right up the ground, but still kept finding players out by themselves.
Had the presence of mind to switch to the other side, but there's some more space to run in. Wanganeen delivered to Paxman, and he marks a defensive 50. Brisbane going man-on-man all over the ground. That's what Paxman's got. From defensive 50, you can see it, just clusters of players, one-on-one. Copeland went up, it spills. Here's the door opening for Port Adelaide. Nick Stevens to Pickett. Had 2 bounces. He's had 3. Inside 50. Pickett to 45 and buries it. Great transition from Port. It's what you were talking about, Terry. They set up across half-back so devastatingly well.
Well, they just use the ball so well, and when you're playing a man-on-man style of game from the kick-outs, they will just find targets every single time. The last time down from a kick-out, you had a situation where Cockatoo Collins marked the ball inside 50 but had given a free kick away. This time we have Pickett kicking the goal. Basically, they should have kicked 2 goals from the last 2 kick-outs.
So the margin back out to 2 goals now. The question again being asked of the reigning champions. Dying stages, 3rd term. We've played 24 minutes. Sharman to Brown. They've answered so many times, Brisbane. Who would deny them doing it once again? And the ball spills out for a throw in. 20 metres around from their behind post.
They'll keep coming.
12 points the margin. 3.5 remaining in the 3rd. Brogan and Lynch took it out of the ruck. Just got boot to ball to avoid being penalised. Paxman, a saving mark in the defensive goal square. To Chad Corns, again working hard up the ground. Corns goes out looking for Treadray. Spilled off the pack. Sean Hart. Here's Black. Ackermanis from 50. Squares it up to Brown. And again, the Lions come.
Well, we just spoke, Jason, about they'll keep coming. You don't break the spirit of champion sides. I mean, that's what's made them championship quality. The Brisbane Lions are that. They're courageous, they're hard-working, they've got all the skill and ability of a championship side. They'll keep coming. Port have got to break them. Port have just got to keep working and working on their natural game just to get the result done. They can't expect that this side will break at any stage.
Significant part about that movement, Black, Ackermanis, Brown, like they're 3 kings involved in the play. They really need them to perform over the last quarter and a bit if they're going to win this game.
So here's Jonathan Brown. Yet to score this evening. From about 40 metres out. Huge kick in the context of the game. And the champion side responds again. They're not done with yet. The Brisbane Lions respond, and the margin back to 6 points. We've played 26 minutes in the 3rd.
It's hard to believe there were, good judges around town questioning the character and fibre of this football club. And they're missing some really key players, but their performance tonight so far has been fantastic. They've been on the canvas for most of the night, counter-punching. They continue to do it, showing real character, real fight.
Well, we've moved past the middle rounds of this heavyweight clash, and still they slug it out. To goal the difference, 2.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd. Sharman. Schofield will run onto it for Port. Handball to Cochrane. Feeds Carr. Pushes wide. Cassisi got hands on it. Couldn't quite. Burgoyne in over the top. Ball finds the line.
Your key position players are just so important in this game. Treadray's been a good goal assist player for the Port side. Jonathan Brown, 7 possessions in this quarter, has been a real key to Brisbane coming back into the game.
Warren Treadray leads the competition in goal assists. He's given away 40 this year and kicked 40 himself. So for a centre-half forward to have a direct hand in 80 goals after 17 rounds, Terry, just shows what a brilliant player he is.
Well, you just don't always have to be the one kicking them. I mean, if you're setting them up, it's just as vital to your side.
Sharman and Primus. Ugly ruck contest. Sharman got boot to ball. McRae attacks it. Clean hands. Black taken down by Cassisi. Cochrane paddled it to Schofield. Looks up. Spears up the middle to Burgoyne. Kick had to be good. Couldn't quite hang on. Working hard is Carr again. And again they scrap it out. This time it's Brisbane who take the points. Ashcroft wide to Charman. Has a man in space. It's Pike. Flips it over the top. Ackermanis is at 50, and he goes for him now. He can go over the top again. The kick floats and hangs a long time. And Brown grabs it. Gets up looking for 50. None forthcoming. And this to level the scores yet again.
Well, again, we speak about it. Pike, Ackermanis, Brown, the key Brisbane players just involved all the time. Pike's is just a smart player. Anytime he sees the ball at one end of the ground where he thinks it's going to be a turnover, he doesn't wait to make sure it's 100% turnover, just charges to the other side of the ground, takes the punt. But if you're calculated in your punting, that's all you have to be.
So here's Brown. Kicked one to drag them back within a goal. This to level the scores with less than a minute remaining to three-quarter time. In he comes. Just looks to be sliding across the face of goal. It is. And it's back to 5 points the margin. It's been Brisbane by a point at quarter time, a point at half time, and a goal now would see it a point at three-quarter time. Stevens to Paxman. Again they play the huddle at centre-half back. Polton gets on the end of it. 20 seconds remaining to the final change. And still, we're all but locked together. What a contest as Polton goes long. Treadray wrestles. Bradshaw in there over the top of it. It's going nowhere. That'll be all. Three-quarter time at the Gabba. And this heavyweight contest continues. Port Adelaide have got their noses in front. They kick 3-3 to Brisbane's 2-4 to lead at the final change. Port Adelaide 10-10-70. The Brisbane Lions 9-11-65. What a quarter of football we've got in front of us. Don't go away. It's the visitors at the final change by 5 points.
Join us on Wednesday night, one of the greats of the Pushgate Football Club, Kelvin Templeton.
The Terrelgan Rembrandt.
Plus, Terry Danaher, Bob.
A farmer's boy from Ungari.
A great of the AFL.
Fox Footy's Grumpy Old Men. Wednesday nights, 8:30 Eastern.
Because Bunnings Warehouse has the lowest prices every day, you can still afford to do all the home improvements you want. Dustpan and brush set, a low $1.50. Desktop storage unit, only $7.98. Cordless drill kit, great value at $79. Firelighters, just $2. Polytop, a sensational 2 for $3. And if you happen to find a cheaper price on a stocked item, we'll beat it by 10%.
Bunnings Warehouse.
Lowest prices are just the beginning.
Thursday night, celebrate footy's yesteryear with classic quarters.
That's a marvellous kick. Carlton will not lie down. Look at Mickey Malthouse.
All the magical moments, the controversies, the heroes, the characters.
What an extraordinary match.
Unforgettable marks, goals and inspirational highlights from a golden era in football.
Bombers back in front.
27 minutes of the best footy from the past 2 decades. Classic quarters, Thursday night, 10 o'clock Eastern, Fox Footy Channel.
Matthew Primus now in the ruck. Haven't seen much of this in recent times as we start the final term. Up against Charman. Hart got a hand on it. It comes to Pike. Pushes it wide. The foot race is on. Power will get there first. Work the angles well. Gathers. Here comes Byron. Hands off to Voss. Copeland to Brown. Will thump it long. Chad Corns has got a run at it. So does Lynch.
Brilliant.
Well, Lynch had his own man in Paxman to contend with. He had Chad Corns coming across from the side. And Lynch just kept his eyes on the ball with strength.
I mean, that is a super talent. A fantastic kick by Jonathan Brown, just to the danger zone. Not too better contested marks in the competition than Alistair Lynch. Big frame, big body. Hasn't kicked well tonight, has sprayed him, and he can on occasions. Big kick.
This to put Brisbane back in front. From 35 metres out, Lynch delivers. The Lions back in front. Lynch gets his second. What a game.
And the Kings for Brisbane have to stand up. They look like they're pretty well the 18 they've got on the ground at the moment, are the 18 that have got to carry them through to victory. Jonathan Brown, Alistair Lynch, their leadership group, Michael Voss, Simon Black, are the players that will carry Brisbane to victory tonight. That is brilliant. Chad Corns, Stephen Paxman, no slouches in the air. Pure class.
two champion teams slugging it out, and what a show they're putting on. Brisbane have been a couple of goals down on multiple occasions this evening, and again they fight their way back in front. Charman the tap, Black there, wrapped up by Primus. Ball up.
It's a great game, but let's not forget the stakes that are on offer here tonight as well. I mean, it's just huge for both sides. Also, what both coaches have done are pushed a lot of players into the midfield trying to open up their forward lines.
Primus, clean hands on the ball. Voss trying to break free of Carr. It's picked off by Shattuck. Handball taken by Brown. What an influence he's had. Black to Pike from 50. Across the face of goal. Wanganeen watches it go over.
Best result though, isn't it? Keeps the ball in play, keeps it in the danger zone. Brisbane have got enough quality inside 50, dangerous small men, Power and McRae, to make this a very dangerous position.
Throw in. Primus in front. Lynch tries to work him under it. Ackermanis, brilliant little gift to Hart. Sean Hart from point blank range. Brisbane have got the buffer. Well, you have to beat them to death with a stick. They are an amazing side, Brisbane. When they're down and out, they just keep on coming. And the margin now 7 points. I think it was a famous quote from Joe Cocker. He said, "Once I die, I'll have to beat my liver to death with a stick." And you can say the same thing about Brisbane.
And the thing we just found there is they're so disciplined. All their key position players, Voss, Black, all their centremen stayed out of the action, allowed Ackermanis to do his job close to goal.
So Sean Hart's kick free. And Brisbane now with the buffer. 7 points their break. Charman and Primus. Neither ruckman an effective tap. Guerra goes down, clutching the head. And you'll get a free kick, top one high. Just winces, sucks it in.
Compliments of skipper Michael Voss.
Thumps it high and long. Bradshaw and Treadray, it clears them. Michael tapped it to Ashcroft. Pressure, Copeland, picked off by Carr. It's still there for Dew, he's on his left. Snaps! Goal! Back to a point once again. Well, now they're getting serious. It is punch for punch.
Serious they are. Stewie Dew, as we said in the third quarter, spent a lot of time on the bench. He's the man with fresh legs for Port. They get the all-important clearance. Guerra gets the free kick.
The hip of Michael Voss.
And there's body strength from Stewie Dew. Unable to hold him in the tackle. Breaks clear, kicks truly. Great counter punch from Port.
The defensive skills in this last quarter are going to be vital. The ability to hold tackles when it's really tight. I just thought that they got through the tackles too easily that time.
Bit of fatigue.
Charman and Primus. Neither ruckman got hands on it. Vossen first, wins the free kick. Advantage paid. Comes out to Pike. He'll go high and long. Lynch will get a run at it. Almost. Ackermanis spills to Chad Corns. Ackermanis lays the tackle. Ball up, 35 metres out from Brisbane's goal.
Well, you wouldn't want to be sitting under Alistair Lynch when he's jumping at those odds, would you?
McRae almost took it out of the ruck. Couldn't quite get an effective boot to it. Spilt from Charman to Black. He can have a flying snap at goal. Misses to the right-hand side. Behind to Brisbane. The margin 2 points.
And still they persist with the man-on-man.
Stevens to the run of Wanganeen. Got boot to ball. Carousella tracks it back. Ball finds the line.
If they could do that, it was a good chase by Luke Power. Don't mind them getting the first kick out, but it's just their ability to find the second target. Brisbane have just stopped them from doing that the last couple of occasions.
Charman and Primus shoulder to shoulder. Primus tries to take it out of the ruck. Black flips it towards the run of Copeland. Work James off it. McRae there as well. Copeland pumps it forward by hand. Only as far as Kane Corns. Little give was hot to Bishop. Kept his head. The fall-away handball from Cockatoo Collins to Wanganeen. A little bit of time. Here's Lynch. Paxman had to stand tall. Lynch kept his feet. Can wheel around at 55. Chip over the top. Has got Pike in space and uses him. Well, he's 40 metres out on the boundary line, Martin Pike. He's kicked 12-7 for the season.
He's a big occasion player.
And again, Alison Lynch's strong body to knock Stephen Paxman over. Is it fatigue? Is it just a strong body? But you've got to hold your feet at critical times. Scoring opportunity for Brisbane.
Well, every shot for goal from here on in is vital. Pike across the face of goal. They contest on the goal line. Bishop at the back. Token paddle to the line. Just almost risked giving away deliberate.
But you've got to get it out of the danger zone. What it does is keep the ball in the danger zone. Last time the ball out of the pocket, Brisbane kicked the goal.
He could have almost ran through it with his body then and not used the hands, but he got away with it. Brad Scott and Polton throw themselves headlong at the football, and again it spills out.
Well, I think Brisbane can actually be fairly unlucky that they're not having a free kick or a shot at goal. That was just a blatant free kick.
Throw in. Still alive for Brisbane. Lynch and Primus, they take each other down. Umpire said just play it on. Ackermanis the high fend on James.
Free kick.
Umpire spots it. Fended him above the shoulder. It's a free kick to Roger James. Thought about the gift to Kane Corns. We'll go further afield. Some good hard run. It came from Montgomery. And he marks centre wing. Called now to play on. Goes to Treadray and finds him. 15th possession, 6 marks. Goes to Corns in the pocket. Notty. Hang on. Play on advantage. And Carr's got another one. He's kicked 4. Port back in front. Well, the hand just slipped over Chad Corns' shoulder. Ball spilled out. Umpire played advantage. And Josh Carr, a personal best 4 goals.
Well, the Brisbane supporters here are not happy. They weren't happy with the Ackermanis free kick first up, and then certainly weren't happy with the second free kick. But they were both there. I mean, I don't think there was any trouble that on both occasions the free kicks were there. They need to be paid. What about this bloke's game? He's been magnificent as an on-off player on Michael Voss.
20 possessions, 4 goals for Josh Carr. The hand from Notty just slipped over the shoulder of Chad Corns. Advantage paid. Carr into the open goal to kick his 4th. And Port Adelaide back in front by 4 points. 15 minutes remaining. Charm in the tap. Another heavy collision. Pickett with power. High ball. Treadray underneath it. Corns will fly. Spills to Treadray at the back. Flips a handball to Jew. Open goal. Porter got another one. Jew's got 2 in the final term. And Port Adelaide now, just when Brisbane look to be seizing the ascendancy, get back out to a 10-point break.
It was Stewie Jew, the player, but Byron Pickett's ability to hold his feet, break the tackle, Michael Voss goes to ground. And once again, that man, Warren Treadray, his influence on the game, his value for touches, another goal assist, Stewie Jew on the end. And this time it's Port's key players, Treadray, Jew, having a big influence, the all-important centre clearance again. And the momentum changes again back in favour of Port.
So now the question again being asked of the Brisbane Lions. Charm in the tap. The double chance could be riding on this for Brisbane. Cockatoo Collins around his body to Stevens. Paddles to James. Handball on the overlap to Polton. To half forward. Montgomery and Shattuck. Scott arrives, dives on top of it. Shattuck in on top of him. Free kick over the shoulder, going Brisbane's way as we head boundary side. Here's Bill McDonald.
Stuart Cochrane, he won't be coming back into the game. He's on the bike with a hamstring problem, but also another umpy's gone down, which I believe Mark Turner, the boundary umpire, he's had a blowout as well, the ankle.
It's been a war of attrition.
Well, I think this is it, Jace. Next 5 minutes, we'll see where the two sides stand. And if Port's made their charge, Brisbane has to answer in the next 5.
Scott to Black. He goes long. Bishop flew early. Free kick Brisbane. They've responded all night. Can they do it again? Like the champion side they are. Brown. What a game he's played. 20 possessions, 6 marks for Brown. Goes to Keating. What a time to stand up. Clark Keating hasn't scored. just his third game. And again to respond for Brisbane.
Well, Primus was just caught underneath the ball. He was just shocked on how far the ball carried from Jonathan Brown. It was a massive pumping long kick. Keating just had the better position.
And how valuable are they? Big blokes that can take contested marks. Keating is a good kick for goal. You've just got to have one. They are diamonds.
First score for 2003 is a goal. Martin back to 4 points, and the Lions come again.
Well, what a time to kick your first score for 2003. I mean, it's been just an arm wrestle all game. We spoke about the bigger players on the ground not having had the opportunity. It's interesting to see what Mark Williams is waving at there, but we spoke about the big players not having a huge influence on the game. We've seen Lynch take a mark forward, now Keating take a mark forward. That's going to be the difference between the two sides in the end.
And the value of keeping it simple, getting it into the danger zone.
Left frenetic in the box as well. We saw Mark Williams waving the arms. That was to the runner who was coming off the field. He was trying to tell him to get off quickly because I've got another message for you. 4 points the margin. Port Adelaide lead. Primus the tap. Harding over the top of it. Stevens couldn't get an effective handball. Pike's got it. Cassisi's got it. Secondary bounce.
Message may have been get Chad Corns to full forward. He's gone off Jonathan Brown. Bishop goes on to Brown. So Mark Williams still ringing the changes, trying to get some potency up forward.
It's fast becoming one of the great rivalries in football, and they're turning on another cracker for us tonight. Sean Burgoyne tumbles it inside 50. Corns works up his man Bradshaw. Bradshaw comes again. Corns gets boot to ball. Shattuck decides that discretion is the better part of valour and rushes it through for a point. 5 points the margin. There's Cochrane. Bill McDonald mentioned he's got some fitness problems. Been on the bike. Ashcroft short to Shattuck. And there's still 12 and a half minutes remaining.
So if Brisbane can kick the next goal, the supporters, the Brisbane supporters on the home ground will raise the roof off.
So Shattuck has it in the back pocket. Goes long to a contest. Pike presents. Clears he and Sean Burgoyne. Boss at the back. The fist came from Corns. Shattuck attacks it. Jew takes it to the line.
As all home ground supporters would know, if you can get your nose in front at home late in the game, just the momentum seems to go your way.
Brisbane have won 37 of their last 40 games at the Gabba. It's an astonishing record. Port Adelaide have won just one of their last 8 games here. Keating has it at defensive 50. It's been a psychological barrier for Port Adelaide. One they'd love to get over tonight. There's so much significance in this game on so many different levels. As Keating goes to Brown. He's been brilliant. 22 possessions, 7 marks for Jonathan Brown. High ball, inside 50, power. And Colton. It spills to Black. The fall away handball to Voss. He bends it around the corner. Bounces it through. Oh, the Lions are back in front. Voss has got his second. And we trust you're enjoying this right around Australia, wherever you might be watching. Brisbane and Port Adelaide, always such a massive build-up to these games, but they just don't disappoint.
They never do, and the champions come to the fore when the game's on the line. We knew Brisbane's key players had to have an involvement in this game, especially in the last quarter. Michael Voss has probably had his colours lowered by Josh Carr on the night. He's kicked 4, but the captain does it when it's most needed. Kicks the big goal.
Terry, you mentioned the home crowd. They are roaring now.
They're up and at it. So if anyone didn't believe football was alive and well in Queensland, he's just going to listen to the noise at the moment.
What a great game it's been. Keating goes again. The secondary hit out. Cockatoo Collins to run onto it. The question now being asked of Port Adelaide. They're the number 1 contenders to Brisbane's title. Holton to Wanganeen. Copeland grits his teeth, puts in the big ones. Montgomery will arrive late. The pressure came. Sean Burgoyne through. Copeland again. Shattuck ducks the head. Taken in a tackle by Burgoyne and Montgomery. Another bounce.
Well, this is fantastic. This has just been a fantastic game. Mistakes will cost one of these two sides the game.
It's a great point. Dean Bailey says at three-quarter time, what's going to win it for you? The team that makes the less mistakes. Now with 10 minutes to go, it's all about taking the ball, being clean with your hand, making sure you hit bodies, not making mistakes.
Matthew Primus stood up in the ruck in the final turn. Brogan on the bench, and here comes Ackermanis. Goes to 50, misses McRae. Chance for Lynch. It spills to Polton. Ducked and weaved and kept his head. Comes away from defensive 50 and kicks to the skipper. Primus has it. Now Port Adelaide break. The gut-busting run from Wanganeen. Through the middle. Tumbles it to half forward. Caracella stands tall. And for every positive now, the Brisbane crowd roar. Swings it wide to Shattuck. He can go over the top. The loose man is McRae. Has got some space. Will go to 50. The long lead from Lynch. The time's now for Brisbane. The crowd's up. They've got their tails up. Port Adelaide have to grit their teeth and steel themselves.
Well, Alistair Lynch hasn't kicked these well tonight. It's a tough kick.
He's got some hamstring problems. You can see him just stretching out. He was getting some work out on the ground before. Obviously couldn't get off, didn't have that amount of time, so the physio came out to him.
This is huge.
Here's the reverse angle. Lynch from just inside 50. Starts at left and leaves it there. 2 goals for to the Brisbane Lion champion. 2 points the margin. Stevens again with the kick in. They've played the huddle so well. There it is again at centre half forward. It's worked for them all night. This time Brisbane hold it in. So Stevens plays to himself. Goes longer past the zone to Montgomery. Little handball to Schofield. Has to wait for the players to run past. They do now. He goes for a run, and it's opened up for Sean Burgoyne through the middle. Ackermanis will close, but Burgoyne will go towards Chad Collins. Works his man under it, and Bradshaw had him beaten from about 30 metres out.
Well, once again, end to end, we've taken the ball. We've seen the ball taken from one end of the ground. The power virtually without a Brisbane player touching the ball and having another shot and goal. This has been the difference between the two sides. They've been locked in all night. It's been only the kick-outs that's been the difference between the two teams.
Corns to give Port Adelaide the lead again. Kicks for goal and squeezes it home. The contenders respond. Corns has got his second, and it's Port Adelaide by 4 points.
And as you said, Terry, once again, just clean movement, one in the ground to the other. Jared Schofield getting the ball up and running. Sean Burgoyne involved as well. Their foot skills are so good, Port Adelaide. They hit their targets, isolating Chad Collins one-on-one against Bradshaw. Big body, strong hands. Great move by Mark Williams to get him back into the danger zone. The power respond back in front.
Look at the intensity from Lee Matthews. So much resting on the remaining 8 or 9 minutes of football in this one.
Well, I think Lee Matthews would know that his team has probably got more improvement left over the last few rounds, but they've got to get in a position where they can have a real attack on the final spot.
If it all goes horribly wrong for Brisbane, they could be as low as 7th. There's 8.5 minutes remaining. Stevens, Sockers inside 50. Bradshaw did well. Gave it to Caracella. He goes to Brad Scott. He's got some time to gather. He'll turn and look up. Powers led. He'll go inboard looking for Ashcroft, but Wanganeen read it off the boot. Turn over to Port.
Power doesn't care who's got the most improvement left in them. All they want is top spots so they get the best opportunity for a premiership.
Wanganeen goes to the long lead of Treadray. If you need any evidence as to the significance of centre half forward, Treadray and Brown have delivered in spades tonight. It's a tumbling kick. It'll suit Brisbane. And Shattuck gets back. He's grown in confidence and significance as the game's gone on, Aaron Shattuck. And now Brisbane to set up from defensive 50. Treadray looms large, cuts it off. It was intended for Sean Hart. Handball to Schofield. Steps inside Copeland. Frees up Pickett. He runs to 55. Byron goes long with the barrel. Just misses. 1 goal for to Byron Pickett.
Well, he's been a great player for them over the duration of the night. Just hasn't kicked straight, but certainly he's been very damaging. Tackles, does all the hard things in the game, and been a quality player again this evening.
5 points the margin. 7.5 minutes remaining. Ashcroft the kick in.
So look at the difference between the two kick-ins. Ashcroft nowhere to go, just can't find a way out.
Goes short to Michael. Port Adelaide manning up, giving Mel Michael no option but to kick to a contest, which he does. Thumps it long towards the wing, over the head of Keating and Brogan. Spills to Wanganeen at the back. Wheels around, looks up, pumps it inside 50. Montgomery and Michael come together. Michael did enough to get it to ground, and Ashcroft helps it to the line. Throw in.
Well, I hate to harp on it, and I know I am harping on it, but the difference between the two sides, kick out from one end goes through for a goal, kick out the other end, a boundary throw-in gives the Power another opportunity.
Under 7 minutes. Michael, the backhander, to defensive 50. Corns tracks it to the line. And these two sides take a breath and steel themselves for one last assault. There's Mark Williams. A win here would go a long way to sealing top spot for Port Adelaide. If Brisbane can claim the points, it is wide open in the race for the double chance. Cassisi inboard. Bradshaw hands to Ashcroft, to Copeland. He's going to get physical pressure, and that's the result. Out of bounds on the full. Chance for Port.
Real feature of the game is that Port Adelaide, the physical pressure to hold the ball inside 50. Terry mentioned on the kick-off. They've been able to keep the ball in the danger zone. Scoring opportunity results. I mean, the sign of a great team.
They've been outstanding. I hardly have seen a tackle that they haven't laid tonight as well. Every time they've had an opportunity, they've nailed the tackles.
Pickett's kick 1-4. He goes with a drop punt from the impossible angle. Oh. Wanganeen claps it through. Byron looks at the crowd and says, how about that one? As casual as you like. Port Adelaide back out to an 11-point break.
Well, Terry, I'll harp on it for you, but you said eventually that kick-off structure of Brisbane, or their defensive structure, was going to cost them the game, and that is the most influential goal so far. Port's forward line pressure keeps the ball in the area. The goal results, a free goal albeit, but the goal results, it gets difficult from here.
Well, it does. It's the only time in the match that you get a free use of the ball, and your ability to be able to do something with that free use. It's been such a man-on-man style of game. It really has been the Port's ability to use the free ball better and to restrict Brisbane from using the free ball that's probably gets them the result in the long run.
So can the Lions respond one more time? Power to half forward. Brown. Brilliant. 55 out. They just refuse to be beaten, Brisbane. They refuse to hand over the mantle. Kicks long. Great effort. Big mark from Dean Brogan. Defensive grab. And with less than 6 minutes remaining, time suddenly becomes a factor for the Brisbane Lions. They trail by 11 points. They need the next one. But you just can't write them off.
Well, Port have answered every challenge so far, and they've just been able to keep their nose in front all night.
Keating lunged, couldn't quite get there. Chance for Brisbane again inside 50. Polton attacks it. Keating attacked him. Kane Corns, high ball to the wing. It's all Brisbane, and here's Bradshaw. They can load up again, the Lions. What have they got left? To Ashcroft. He can run. Tumbling kick inside 50. It'll work. It will work for them because McRae was front and centre waiting for the crumb. In the end, it hit him on the chest.
Well, in the end, you've just got to be in front, don't you? If a mongrel kick comes in, at least you're in front and get the first crack at it. Craig McRae does it.
21 goals, 10 for the season, Craig McRae. What a kick this one is. It swings. It doesn't get there. But it's still alive for Brisbane.
There were a couple of tight kicks, weren't they? The Ashcroft kick going into the forward line and then McRae's kick. A couple of the more ageing players in the lineup. I think they've got about 6 players that are at 30 or turning 30 plus.
Lynch and Brogan. Brogan got hands on it. Black straining to get there. Will it sit? Dishes to Hart. He's been damaging this time. Couldn't quite swing it across the boot. Keating! He's got it again! He's already stood up in the final term to take a big contested mark. Here's another one. They will not lie down.
Well, you talk about big game players once again. Keating virtually only gets himself out there in September and really has been a fantastic part of the September action in the last couple of years. This is a September-like game. When it's on the line, he's taken 2 huge marks.
Here's the reverse angle. Clark Keating. We'll wait on it. It's close to the left post. Brisbane are back in town. 5 points the margin, yet again. 5 lead changes in this final term. And once again, the Brisbane Lions back within a kick.
And once again, the value of a big man that can stand tall inside 50. All you've got to do is hit the hot spot. While the kick wasn't the best, too big, too strong. Dean Brogan was there, couldn't affect the spoil. And what Clark Keating is, he is a beautiful kick for goal. Doesn't miss too many. Pressure was on. Nails the goal. And they keep hanging in there.
A grandstand finish was inevitable. This game warrants it. There's a couple of Brisbane players. Look at the talent there. Lappin, Prescott, Lepich, young Selwood in front. We reload and go again. Brogan had another go at it. Keating's had an influence in the final term. Ashcroft to Power, to Voss. They're away again, the champs. Carousella inside 50. Polton again. Has been important at times this evening. He gets it to the line with 3.5 minutes remaining.
Well, he's brave enough to leave his man, jump third man into the contest. Perhaps could have marked this one, but when you're in any doubt, you don't know what's coming ahead of you. I thought he was all right defensively.
Lynch in front, took it out. Brogan, quick give to Ackermanis from the angle. Steps inside Polton, goes for goal. The Lions are in front. They are a big-time team. No question of that.
Football League, and state pride is on the line here. It's as big as that nowadays. I mean, this is just huge. The crowd are just getting behind this game so much, trying to will the Brisbane side over the line.
The Gabba is rocking. The Lions are back in front. 6 lead changes in this final term. And you get the feeling we're not done with yet. What a classic. 3 minutes remaining. Look at the strain it's showing on the faces of players from both sides. Wanganeen in on top of it. Second rebound.
Stoppages are going to be huge now. I just thought that Brisbane's ability to get the hands on ball at the stoppages the last couple of times will probably turn the tide of the game.
How good was Alistair Lynch to catch the ball? We know what a contentious issue that is, and feed off the handball. Great composure.
Brogan to Carr. To Michael. Shrugs Trevray. Handball to Carousella. Here goes! And down goes Power. Free kick. Well, Brisbane have said to Port Adelaide, if you want our title, you are going to have to take it from us. Power's jelly-legged. He gets it to Carousella. It'll now come back to Power. 2.5 remaining. A point the difference.
Too early to wrap the chickens up yet. Plenty of time left.
Power to Ashcroft. He's standing 5 metres off Cockatoo Collins, and that was enough. Frustration now for Mark Williams. They don't have the football. They've got to make something happen. As the clock approaches 2 minutes.
We'll go back to a 50-50 here. This is their chance.
Ashcroft is forced to kick long to the contest. Brown in front. Great fist from Bishop. Chance for Montgomery now. Little handball to the run of Carr. Approaching was Copeland. It was important. It's fed out to James. Not again for Roger James. misses. Scores level. Wow. Scores level.
Breaks another scenario into it. A couple of draws for the season for Brisbane. One for Port. Could be on the cards.
1:41 remaining. James was the hero in round 22 last year. Not quite this time.
Ted Corns back on to Jonathan Brown. Port Adelaide reshuffling their defence.
Ashcroft goes long. Copeland will have to fly against the bigger man. Sharman at the back. Brogan dives on it. It's still alive. Cassisi. Handball's intercepted. Sharman to the middle. They charge after it. Huge ball to be won. Carr out in front of Cockatoo Collins. He's got a couple of metres. What a play. Don't tell me. Guess who? Roger James again. Can you believe it?
Well, in the middle of the ground, two players know no other way. Voss and Black both went after the ball. Perhaps one could have protected the other, but they know nothing else but to go and win the football when it's there to be won. It ended up just knocking out of the pack. Now the Port side were able to get on the end of it, and here is Roger James.
Any score will do. James from 45. Just sneaks it in from behind. 2-2 to James. Lee picks the phone up again. 7th lead change for the quarter. 42 seconds remaining. Michael bombs it long. They need a mark. Sharman works to the front. Carr wrapped up by Voss. He grimaces in pain underneath that pack.
Not a good option. You're still going to find a target when you're kicking out. You just cannot kick back to a 50-50 contest.
The clock stops with 32 seconds left. It starts again now. It's a defensive 50 for Brisbane. Can they go the length of the field? Brogan the tap. What a clearance. Wanganeen taken. Pike. Wanganeen again feeds it out. 20 seconds left. Sockers towards the boundary line. 15 remaining for Brisbane to come up with a Hail Mary play and a miracle.
It's going to break that man's heart. I tell you, geez, they've been so valiant tonight. They've put up such a good performance, both these clubs.
Was that contest in the middle the biggest ball of the season? Could well be. Michael. James has got it again. Feeds a handball to Schofield. He's wrapped up. Play on. Brogan. Cassisi. Port win a classic. Port Adelaide 15-14, 104. Defeat Brisbane 15-13, 103. And we have just witnessed another Brisbane Lions Port Adelaide epic.